All right. Let's see if you guys can hear me here. I should be up and running. If you guys could say hi, that'd be awesome. And I do have the recording going. They're playing a bunch of music though, so I kind of want to stay away from that so that we don't have to get copyrighted. So we're just going to sit here and wait a minute. I'm going to see if I can readjust the size. That looks better. Well, maybe that. Maybe that right there. Cool. All right, so it's been a heck of a day. Markets are retracing a little bit. I do have Tesla up right underneath of me here. We'll be able to watch the ticker. I actually wouldn't mind it if we close the gap that we formed earlier today. We were up like 7% in after hours, I think. And at the beginning, at some point this morning, it's up about 3% right now. Not concerned about the price at all. I think markets are just digesting all the news from CPI and PPI and trying to figure out their next direction. What I'm really excited about today is all of the latest news from Tesla, seeing how much we were able to pass and get approval for Elon's pay package. And it looks like a potential for the move to incorporation in Texas. This is by far the last of the steps. There is more to do, but it's insane. Like, it's insane. Let me see if I got the image here. Yeah, right here. This is great. So the guaranteed win category or the line is in orange, like an orangish brown. And then it said the 4 votes, and you can see the ramp up thanks to people like Amy and Boomer Mama for sure. But you could see just the level of ramp at the end here for the yes votes, and it's just huge, well over the threshold that was needed for Elon's comp package. That's the image that we're looking at. The other one is for the votes to Texas, which also is overwhelming. This is going to make it really, really difficult. Yeah. Hey, guys. This is going to make it really difficult for the state of Delaware to say anything against what's happening with Elon. You've got to realize Delaware has over 1 million plus businesses that are incorporated from all around the country. And there's reasons to incorporate in Delaware. And one of it is for protections. And they've got a whole legal system there where they've got massive amounts of attorneys that live in Delaware. So because if you have a case in Delaware, you have to have a representative there. So yeah, congrats to Tesla shareholders. This is an awesome day. But the state of Delaware, they have to make the right moves on this because they're getting ready to cause a flood of companies that, if anything, for their own protection, will look to leave that state and incorporate somewhere else. And I can tell you there's a lot of companies and people that look at Elon towards guidance of what to do in the future. And so if he incorporates in Texas and these guys continue to fuck with him, this judge continues to exclusively pick cases against him, things where you have a person with 9 shares and you use it as an opportunity to take away a $50 billion pay package and then ignore the votes of the people twice, they're gonna have a really tough road ahead of them. So I've got a feeling that the state of Delaware is not going to be doing that anytime soon, and that they're gonna take probably an expedited path to back the fuck out of this. Because they lost very badly. Let's just look over here. We still got 40 minutes right now, it says, until they spin it up. So it looks like we're doing 3:30. I thought it was 3, but we got plenty of time in between then and that. We can always look up some stocks or something in the meantime too here. But I wanted to go over a number. I got a lot of slides on Tesla here. Let me see where I left off last. There's so many things. All right, so I know I did this one yesterday. So I'm going to jump up here. I posted about this. Just last night, it talked about it. This isn't Tesla, but it's a conglomerate of the whole thing, right? So I want to talk about it. So the U.S. Defense Department plans to add more than 100 SpaceX Starshield satellites. Starshield is a militarized version of SpaceX's Starlink with enhanced encryption. Unlike Starlink, the Starshield's satellites will be owned and controlled by the U.S. government. So not only in a military need could Starlink provide access to their entire network, but there are literally satellites, more than 100, that will be specific for the U.S. government that have stronger encryption and probably shielding and just ways to protect them. And this is just another example of how intertwined every one of Elon's companies has been or is becoming with the government in every part of our society. It is nothing to disregard, that's for sure. And China, Russia, Iran, and other countries that hate the West should be in fear of the things that are being developed by great companies and people like Elon Musk. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. There's this one too about partnering with Samsung. I don't think they're going for a phone, but man, it sure could make sense. Just as far as like low level code that ties in with the vehicles that can tie in the internet service provided courtesy of maybe a Starlink, at least for roaming and things like that. There could be, or maybe just the entire service. I don't know. We'll see how far it goes, but I do think that there's something to be said there. And again, we've got a little over 30 minutes until this thing fires off for anybody who's waiting here, just so you know, and you can plan accordingly. Now, I wanted to talk about this too. This is from Sawyer Merritt. It talks about, from Bloomberg, it says EV sales are headed for another record year. Despite the headlines to the contrary, global EV sales continue to grow and are set to rise about 20% this year. Combustion vehicle sales peaked in 2017 and have no real route back to that peak. Still, sales growth is much slower than in the past years, and some markets have stalled. That's been expected by BNEF for some time, but it's also a significant threat to climate targets. Government, don't even care about any of that. My whole point here for this Bloomberg article is that the growth is still strong. And one of the places it's becoming stronger is actually the United States, which you can see in this blue color here, which was very tiny and is expanding arguably at as fast of a rate as China, if not faster, and definitely more than the broader world. But look at these other emerging markets too. You can see their expanse. Here's the thing. I read a couple. There's a couple studies I wanted to talk about. So one of them said that 40% of EV owners are looking to go back to ICE cars, or at least thinking about it, the way the study was worded. That doesn't surprise me. I think like a little over 60% of the cars that were sold in the United States were Teslas. My guess is that if people bought those other cars and they didn't have network access to you know what the Tesla supercharging network, and they didn't have the software and just what is Tesla in the cars for anybody who has them, and just how great they are, that they probably are going back. They're probably very confused. And didn't understand what they were getting into, and didn't like the products because a lot of them don't work well. So again, that's just one stat that's kind of interesting. Another one that I was just watching a video about today and listening to was talking about how it's from ARC. It's actually some of their analysis, their latest analysis with their new price targets, which have the bull case at 3,100, the nominal case, the normal range at 2,600 by 2029, and then an ultra bull of $15,000 for Tesla potentially in the next 5 years if a bunch of stars align, which is a crazy number. When you're talking almost 10x, or I'm sorry, over that, quite a bit over that, versus where we are right now, it's a pretty fucking crazy number. What is that? That's like 100. It's a crazy number that they're talking about for potential if autonomy and robotics and all these other things take off and Tesla continues to perform. But anyway, in this analysis, they were talking about how every doubling of battery capacity roughly around the world, battery production, I should say, not capacity, but production, equates to roughly 28% lower costs on the batteries. So if you think about that, at the rate of growth, like in 5 years, we could be looking at batteries that are 80, 90% lower in cost without any amazing changes, 80 to 90% lower in cost than what we're talking about right now. So it'll just be, in 5 years, you would have to just really love ICE cars to be willing to pay for something that's inferior and costs a lot more in every regard. The price, by that time, gas prices will be even higher. You're paying almost 3 times as much right now for it. It's just really crazy. And so I think you'll see again that this is an inevitable transition. I don't know why this is bombing out like crazy. Sorry, the sidebar with the Tesla price was dying, and I don't know why. But again, EV growth is not EVs aren't dead. They're still growing. They're growing at an incredibly rapid rate. They still have an amazing S curve in front of them. Battery costs are going to be coming down exponentially, and we could be looking at prices for Tesla that are through the roof. So again, it's just very interesting stuff. And this is the tweet that actually kind of set off Elon talking about if they had to, they might produce a phone after backtracking before and saying that they weren't interested. He said, if Apple integrates OpenAI at the OS level, then Apple devices will be banned at my companies. This is an unacceptable security violation. So what he's saying is talking about them having a local storage LLM with OpenAI, which is a company that's run by Sam Altman. Sam Altman is the same person where a recent board of directors for the company that no longer works there said that Sam is a straight up liar and manipulator, and that they couldn't believe what he was telling them, and that they didn't even know about the ChatGPT product until it was announced as the release. And these guys are the board of this fucking company. So you could see why giving low-level access to everything everybody does on a phone could be a major security violation. And that's why Elon brought this up. And that's why, again, we might see something like a Tesla phone in the future, whereas I don't think he's that interested in doing it. But when you own all these companies that have similar interests like Starlink, and you can integrate the phone and have all kinds of data analysis maybe that can come from that and that can come from the car, it gets pretty interesting on what they might be able to accomplish with all that. Now, Sawyer Merritt, this is a great one. This is another one from talking about autonomous miles, the run rate, millions of miles annualized. So showing how many millions of miles they're getting here. And it shows Tesla versus Cruise, which you can't even see. Waymo, which you can see a little bit better, and Baidu, the big Chinese rival. And then there's Tesla, and these just aren't comparable. So I wanted to make sure to show you guys that because, again, there's a difference between these, a very strong one. Let me see here. Let's see what else I want to show you. Oh, yeah, this. I got to show this. This is all the white dots are Starlink satellites. I believe the flashing ones are base stations associated with the network. But when you're looking here, these are all satellites that Starlink has in suborbit, low Earth orbit, traveling around the world at a given moment. If you don't believe in Elon, you don't understand what this man is capable of because he gets shit done. Whole Mars catalog. This is great. Again, we have about 25 minutes until they start. Whole Mars catalog said, okay, Elon, we got you the options. Now you have to make Tesla the most valuable company on Earth. Deal? And Elon said, yes. I don't even know if that's something you should be saying, but that's the confidence level this man has in what he's going to be doing. And I don't doubt that at all. It's going to be easy to be the biggest company in the world, at least within 3 to 5 years, in my opinion. Let me see here. Should be a landslide in favor. Yep. Okay. That's past tense. We know it was a landslide we know it was a landslide, and this should not be there. So I'm going to take that out. If you didn't catch this, there are 2 Optimus robots that are currently working in factories, probably in Giga, Texas would be my guess, right now. So not only do you have these others that they're working on, but you literally have, and that they're doing training, but you have some that are actually completing work so that they can probably test them out for their lifespans and maintenance and any kind of issues that might arise or, production changes that could be made, because again, they're going to iterate. So Tesla is all about getting a product out there and then making it better. It's what they specialize in, and they'll take all the feedback, they'll take all the things that break, and they'll fix them and make them better. And that's what they're doing with the Optimus robot. I don't think people get that this thing is already real and working. I don't think they get that, but they're going to understand very soon. Thank you to the 200 plus people that are here. If you guys could hit the like, it's greatly appreciated. We've got a little over 25 minutes, and we'll be listening to the shareholder meeting. It's going to be an interesting one. Probably get confirmation about the starting process of the move to Texas for incorporation, and then official approval or just confirmation that the vote did pass. Kind of already have it. It's a glaring result, but exciting stuff. So that'll be coming up in about 25. Now, also here, this says Tesla started to announce that prices are likely to increase from July 2024 due to expected tariffs on Model 3 vehicles. This is probably tariffs coming from Chinese production vehicles that could be hitting in Europe and anywhere else they're selling to that have tariffs in place. I don't even know how much we're going to be sending cars from China to the United States. So that's probably not even applicable. But again, there's tariffs that are going in play that are hurting China. They will affect Tesla too, but I would argue that with all the markets that are opening up for Tesla, that they'll probably just end up producing these things at a slightly higher cost to offset the tariffs, but they'll still be selling them and they'll still have a massive production because they don't just need to sell stuff in China. They can ship it to other parts of the world where they're happy to take a Tesla and they don't have the tariffs in place. So we'll see what happens with all this, but I'm not really worried about tariffs and Tesla right now, especially with their push trying to make it to where they're focused on subscriptions and additional payments from whether it's you got to look at all the goods in the Tesla shop, people. It's insane. Let me just hop in here real quick. This is nuts. So if you look in here at some of the stuff they sell, look at this right here. This is Tesla Mezcal, smoky and floral with a smooth finish, this alcohol, right? 750 milliliters, 43% alcohol. And how much would you expect this thing to cost? What do you think the materials and the product are? Well, I mean, they sell it for $450 and it's out of stock. $450 and they get it. And you can't buy one of these right now because they're completely and utterly sold out. So I just want you to be clear that Tesla sells a lot of stuff. And just even, again, like let's just look at vehicle accessories. Let's see, floor mats that came with my Foundation series. Otherwise, I would have bought them. I've been trying to buy this for the back of my Cybertruck. It's $250. It's a rubberized plastic storage bin. I will pay $250 for it. I already paid $115 for the Cybertruck glass roof sunshade. What else did I buy here? I'm going to buy this rack for $800. It's fucking $800, but whatever. I'm buying bumper covers. I already bought these. I've got to put them on for $80. I bought this stupid decal for the OMFG decal for the broken window for $55. I'm going to put that on my truck. I bought this divider. This divider is $350. Then for these panels on the side of the Cybertruck to be able to make it to where you can hang bags or tools or whatever. I bought 2 of these. They're $250 a piece. These buckets are $225 a piece. I don't think people realize how much Tesla charges and how much people are willing to pay for even just extra components. I wouldn't buy this tent. This tent is $3,000. Tons of people will buy this tent. Look at this film, the Cybertruck color paint film. I'm going to get my Cybertruck wrapped for probably less than $4K. But they're selling this for $6,000 to $6,500, and then the satin clear paint film is $5,000. I don't even think this is to put it on. This is just like the materials, and people will pay for this shit. So you have to realize. And then there's clothes, and then there's more alcohol bottles, and there's drinkware and bags. And Tesla makes a fortune off this stuff. I mean, people are paying $40 for a coffee mug. People are paying $55 for these little shot glasses that can go with the thing over here. Tesla has the ability to make money and margins like no other company I've ever seen on earth. How many people are going to pay $450 for a bottle of alcohol from another car company? Fucking tell me. I can't find any. So I just want to reiterate, and even this $1,900 cyber quad for kids could probably kill your kid. Probably not a good thing to use. Or the flaming torch, not a torch. There's just like, Tesla can sell anything to us. Anything. And then at the same time, you got the energy business and you got all these other pieces. Oh, I better fix my little, I don't know why this is bothering me. TradingView, you got to fix this. I don't like stuff breaking. So it looks like Tesla ended up closing up 2.92% at the end of close, and is up 0.3% after hours. We'll continue to monitor this and see where the price goes. But I just wanted to reiterate, and let's look here. So we're less than 25 minutes now. I should make sure that I'm at current here. Yes, I am. Okay, good. And let me see if they got music playing. Yep, fuck that shit. But yeah, so just amazing stuff. And I should have actually had this ready for this video, but I was just too busy today. I had stuff going on with my nephew and an attorney. So anyway, outside of that, so I didn't have time to go through it, all the details of the ARK Invest report, but it's really great. And again, it's got a potential leap 5-year target of $15,000 for Tesla. Now, Tesla right now is trading for $183. 15,000 would be a stupid number. I wouldn't count on that. I wouldn't bet on it. But damn, if they got a portion of that, how fucking crazy would that be? Yeah, look at this. Our ARK Invest founder, Kathy Wood, says there is a 25% chance of Tesla hitting 15,000 within 5 years. That is, that's just fucking nuts. I would take the 3,100. I'd take the median 2,700 target. That's fine. That would work for me. But can you imagine, though, if this company becomes that valuable? And you got to realize they're going to start printing people, guys. They're going to literally start printing, well, I mean, not literally, but printing robotic, autonomous people to replace all of human labor on Earth. One where Elon has said, you know, initially as they really ramp and it becomes big, there will be 1 to 2 of these for every person on Earth. And eventually there could be 7 to 10 for every human being. Can you imagine 10 Optimus robots for every human being? The world is going to change in dramatic ways that I hope people will take the time to understand. It is a very brave new world that we're getting ready to head into. One that, again, you bought 2 mezcals for $1,000. Yeah, with shipping. Master of the game spent. So that's exactly my point. Thank you, man. He spent $1,000 on 2 alcoholic. I almost got him. I didn't do it because I'm already too heavily indebted in just buying all these other fucking things for my Cybertruck. I'm buying literally everything they sell. But yeah, $1,000 for 2 bottles of alcohol. I hope it's good. I hope it's good. But again, we do this stuff because we love this company. I give them my money, not just because I want the thing that they're selling, but I want them to do well. This company has helped make me rich. And unlike some people like Meet Kevin acts sometimes, or Ross Gerber of all fucking people, great example of being somebody who literally made a lot of his success off of this company doing well and then shit talk it afterwards. I am actually appreciative and I mean, I'm overwhelmed by the things that Elon and his companies have been able to do, and I respect it, and I don't just look at it as my own fucking brilliance that these people work so hard and did amazing things. So I don't know, maybe a little humility is what some of these motherfuckers need who become analysts and then all of a sudden turn on the company that made them great. Fuck people like that, man. Fuck two-faced assholes who think about themselves and think about how great they are and don't pay attention to the people or things around them that made them better than they were. And some of those guys, I mean, I don't even know how great they are. But anyway, that's my enough of shitting on people that vote no or talk shit about Tesla when it's convenient. Yeah, I own this too. I got this little Roadster. I didn't get the Semi yet. I got the Cybertruck. I got the Roadster. I think I got the Y. I didn't get this. If my daughter was a little younger, I probably would have this too for $1,500. Incredibly expensive, but you can even, for another $95, you can get the cover that says Cybertruck on it. So again, I just want to reiterate, and these little toys right here, $225 for the Cybertruck, $175 for the Roadster. They're okay. They're pretty decent quality. But like for real, I almost want to buy this one right now. I'm going to do that later. But I do want the Semi too. I got to add that to my collection. But look at this. Like fucking dog mode. Here's just a little plastic fucking dog for $50 that you can set in your car. Or a fucking whistle for $60. Or a blanket for $150. Or for everybody that needed a branding iron with a Tesla symbol on it, there's one for $70. And I bought this right here, this wireless charging station, for $300 to charge my phone and my wireless headset. Hey, thank you, Derek, for becoming a member, man. Appreciate you. But yeah, so there is pricing power in this company that is top notch. The Semi's cool. Yeah, it is. It really is. Need nuclear plants. I'm gonna look through chat here. We're gonna go through comments. I'm gonna start getting caught up with you guys real quick. I thank BD for joining and thank Derek for joining. Hey guys and gals, let's do this, says Matthew, Johnny Salgado, hey dude, Johnny Utah, yo, yo, yo. You guys have awesome names. A lot of Johnnies in the chat. Raghu Venkata, also an awesome name. Any chance of Tesla stock going up after the shareholder call? I mean, I think it's a possibility. We'll see what all happens in the call. Last call was pretty good. The last time we had a call, Meet Kevin brought up for like, I don't know, several times. He had a good comment about advertising, and Elon blew people's minds by saying, yeah, we should do it. And so I don't know. There can definitely be things that could move the price. If they give us some updates that are really positive on the direction of the company, maybe, you know, subscription services and growth rate expectation. I don't know. I don't know what all they're going to give out on this, but there could be things that can definitely move the price. Last time there were. Anyone gambling today? I don't really gamble. I am risk averse myself, so I might buy options and I might lose, you know, a couple $100,000 in a day sometime. But I don't like gambling. I don't even play nickels machines. All right, Johnny, can we check Tesla calls for December of 2026? Thanks. Yeah, sure. Let me see. I haven't looked at December, so I'll look at the ones I have, and then we can pull that up too. Okay. So I have. Got to look at what I have them for. I've got June 2026, 330s. Let me see what I paid for them. I paid 1986, so they're up a little bit. And then I have, this is just my primary count. I don't know what I have on the other one. I'd have to look. It's like maybe 100K or something, but or 100K worth. But I got 185 of these. Let me see here. So what's that say? So my cost basis is $367,000. And then I actually probably will. Let me do this real quick. I want to pull up Tesla's chart too, because I have like this long baked in thesis for Tesla price action over a long period of time. And you can kind of see some of this. I might have to do this because this is wonky now. I might have to shrink this up a little bit. But you can see there's the video I made about the 4 phases of Tesla consolidation and how I thought we were in the 4th one. And I show you targets for what I believe we can hit. And my target for what I really want to hit is honestly just getting up around 400 again. If we did that, that's 120 or 110% move from here. And that in and of itself. So let's say we get to 400. Let's see what I end up making if we can do that over a decent period of time. So I'm actually going to blow this up to the 900 range though, because I think that is a possibility, even though it's a stretch for the next 2 years. But I do want to show what the 400 range can give me. So if I get the 400 range, let's say like in the next year and a half, if we get to $400, I will make roughly 1.7 to maybe $2 million around the $400 range in profit. So off a cost basis of 367,000. So I think that's pretty good. And I think that the likelihood of that happening is actually pretty great. That is literally under what was the previous all-time high going back to 2022. So we're talking about 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, and half of 2026 just to get to the previous all-time high. I think this number is pretty conservative, and I wouldn't hate to make, you know, $2 million in the next year and a half, or 1.7 off of a $367,000 investment. And again, this isn't all of mine. I probably have a little bit more. I'm probably like, this is probably a more accurate depiction if I include my other accounts. So again, the 400 range gets us around, yeah, a little over, probably over 2 million, depending upon when it happens. So it's a real good number, you know, almost a 9x from where we're at. Let's look real quickly here. So Tesla is up 0.51% in after hours. Let me hop back over. This says the video is unavailable. Huh. Why is the video unavailable? All right, 1 second here. I might have to pull this up on X. There are scammers. It's wild, but there are scammers on YouTube that will look just like Tesla. They'll even say Tesla, and then it will be bullshit and it won't be the real video. So let me do, yeah, I'm just going to go over here and try and find it on X, because I don't want to get caught up in some scammer shit. They start talking about like crypto coins and shit at the last minute, and that's how you know they've hijacked somebody's channel. Let me see if I can find. This is an old one. Oh, I can't. You guys don't even have links, do you? Let me go over here. I'll see if this is it. This has 2.65 million subscribers. You would have to think this one is real. And so I'm going to click on it. Yeah, okay, cool. 13 minutes. Chat is disabled. This is probably the real deal. 6,000 waiting. This is probably real. Well, I'll test it or figure it out in real time, but this is probably good. All right, let's go back to chat. Starship Torch is freaking awesome. I do want that too. Yeah, so much crap to buy. So much crap to buy. Lost Gerber. He's such a loser. I used to kind of like him. He was very positive about Tesla and he had some interesting points, but I didn't realize he was just a liberal hack. I hate people that are super political, whether you're like a far right, only my side wins, or a far left. I think that screams of ignorance if you think that you're always right or your party is always right and you let them do the decision making and thought process of yourself. I think that's inherently flawed. There's people that have told me I'm wishy-washy and I should pick a side. And I'm like, why the fuck do I have to pick a side? Why can't I have my own thoughts on what the world is based upon other information? Like, I'll never understand why I have to be on one fucking side or the other. I don't think I'll ever be that person. If there's anything I'm ever going to side with instinctually and then question later, it's probably going to be Elon Musk. But that's it. And even then, I still question the man. I questioned him about many things throughout his career. The problem is, he's usually right and I'm usually wrong, which, gives you a little bit of humility if you pay attention to it. But some people don't. They're always right. They're the Ross Gerbers of the world. They're the ones that can't do anything wrong. Jesse, what's your view on the PayPal June 2026? I don't have June 2026. I have, I think January 2026. The Junes might be looking good. I saw today that Januaries were down 12% for 2026. So you're giving yourself a year and a half to be able to hit what in mine was a $95 price target. So that is a really good deal in my opinion. My 2025s are almost dust. They're down 86% from the high. But between all of this stuff, I'm down about 67%. So I've lost a shit ton of money on PayPal. $330,000 to be exact. So it hasn't turned out really good for me, but I would imagine June is pretty good. Real quickly, let's go back though to that other question that we had about Tesla. I do want to focus basically on Tesla right now. We can look at stuff like that in more on a market recap, and I'm going to try and do more of those here soon. But I do want to focus because the person was earlier, I don't remember whose name it was, but they were talking about December 2026. So let's look at those. So again, that's the return. The $2 million was roughly what I would get if we hit I think this says 408 target range, which is lower than the all-time high, basically making a bet that Tesla over a period of almost 5 years can get back to its all-time high. I think that's a pretty safe bet, but I would take that 2 million. Now, what does it look like if we did a similar target for December of 2026? What kind of bet would that be at the $330 range? I'm just going to use the same one. I'm going to lower the quantity, obviously, because this says $671,000. Let's put this at a number. Well, I'll put it at what I would have roughly. Let's do like 130. So this will be a similar dollar comparison. Maybe 125. Probably 120. So this will be a similar dollar comparison to what I have already in these other ones, right? Or what I had for a cost basis. So this is a pretty close comparison. So now let's look at the $400 range. Let's say that we get that in the next 2 years, because now we've given ourselves 2.5 years to get there, right? So here's the difference. So with that same amount of applied capital, because I'm giving it an extra 6 months, I would only get $1 million in gains off of this. for that roughly that same time frame. Like, well, I shouldn't say same time frame. It would be maybe 1.3 million, 1.2 million if it was the same time frame that I was talking about before with the other ones that were based in June. So you can see how the yield from it is a little bit lower. Now, if we start to hit much higher targets, it gets fucking crazy. And I would argue that by almost 2027, the chance of hitting 900 is pretty high. That's a 400% increase, or a little bit less, like 380, 390 from where we're at. But I would argue by 2027, that is very doable. Now, if that happened and you had these December calls and you had applied $383,000 in capital, roughly what I had on my main account, and you got up to 900, well, then it gets stupid, because then even 2 years from now, you would have made $6.3 million if we got up to that price. That's actually over 2 years. That's closer to the 2.5 year range, or I'm sorry, yeah, roughly 2 years from now, but you'd have up to 2.5 years. So again, $6 million, $7 million for $383,000 in capital on a bet that we could go up 300+% seems like a pretty good deal to me. Now, I do want to say, so we were up 0.7% after hours, so about a 3.5% day all in all. And I'm going to jump over and see if the video started. We got 7 minutes and 40 seconds. So, yeah, what do you say? Only law, sorry, mint January 2026. Oh, for, what was that for? Was that for PayPal? Oh, January. Yeah, January 2026. So I actually think, let's look at it real quick. We got a minute. We can look at just a PayPal for a split second. We'll do that since we got through the Tesla stuff. Let's just take a look. So we get the price. How many of these do I have? 235. What did I pay for them? 5.92. Oh, no, that's not right. All right, so I'll show you what I have, at least in my primary account. I don't remember. I might have some of this on my secondary. I think I do, actually. I know I do. So there's probably a few more than these on my secondary account. Now, something didn't lock and load. Still says Tesla. Let me do this again. January. Oh, I didn't load it. What was my strike on this? Is this still Tesla? Let me see. I have 95. Nope, this is right. And then my average price per option was 5.92. So I've actually paid more than what somebody would pay right now for these, because I've lost money on them. And then the range, I'm still going to put this up to like 140. I'll show you the chart in a second. But so if this thing went up to 140, if this doubled, let's say the stock doubled for PayPal sometime in the next year and a half here, I would make $700,000 roughly on this stock. So $650,000 to $700,000 in profit off of 139,000 allocation. That would actually probably put me at a doubling of my money, or a 100% gain on all the PayPal positions that I've had. Because this is only my primary account. I got more in the secondary too. So maybe I make $1 million in gains after losing, $350,000, $400,000. So I took $600,000 pop. That's what I made off of Palantir last year. So that wouldn't be bad. MSTR got nuked today. Any idea how this compares to the miners? Normally they kind of run a little more equal in phase. It's always going to go back and forth. I don't even pay attention to it, honestly. Outside of, I don't even pay attention. Oh, hey, we're up 1% right now in after hours. Let me see. I'm just going to refresh this real quick. 1 second. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so we're going to be starting here in 5 minutes, real fast. I'm going to sip on a cup of Joe here real quick and read some more of your guys' comments. How did you start trading? So I don't really consider myself a trader, even though I do rebalance my account every once in a while. I've only made like 4 or 5 transactions in the last 30 days. I did do a lot over the last year. But so investing and trading, I think like most people, I got started in trading first because I wanted to make quick money, and I didn't know anything about trying to value anything. I didn't know anything about anything, but I knew that people got rich off of the stock market. So I looked towards penny stocks. I got excited. My dad got excited during the .com bubble. Hey, thank you, Brian, Peter, Riley, everybody that's joined. You guys are awesome. Thank you for the support. But I got started during the .com bubble. I got interested because my dad started a company called Net Equity, I think it was. And my dad's brilliant. He's got a lot of great ideas. But he was interested in investing and trying to figure out if he could use the news to determine what was happening with the price. And that works sometimes, but as a lot of you probably already know, when the price moves, the news kind of goes with it. So if anything, it was kind of a backward mechanism. Didn't work out very good. I watched a lot of people that were invested, not just my dad, but other people that were investing that were like in similar groups and doing things. I watched them lose a ton of money during the dot-com bubble, and I got very interested in it, but I wasn't really invested myself because I was too young, or I was a teenager-ish. I wish somebody would have got me investing and really taught me the fundamentals around that time, but I got interest, and my dad was really good at getting me interested in investing. And then 2008 came, and I got interested in options, and I didn't take the time to understand how they worked, and I lost everything and ended up going bankrupt. I was using credit cards to buy stock. Thought the numbers could only go up. Didn't even know what hedging was. Lost tons of money, and then I didn't even start to get interested again in investing until 2017 when my dad started talking to me about Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we got 2 minutes and 50 seconds. We're real close, guys. And when he did that, originally I thought, what are you getting into? This sounds crazy. And then I started mining Ethereum, and I saw money starting to add up in this wallet I had. And then I transferred it out to a checking account, and I was like, shit, this actually works. And then I started doing more research. I got really interested with Ethereum first, and I started mining cryptocurrency. I ended up putting over $100,000 into mining equipment. I got a warehouse and everything. But I got interested in investing really hard then and started getting into Tesla and Bitcoin. Struggled, made a bunch of money. Lost a bunch of money, was negative like $46,000. That was a tough time. Doubled down, learned, didn't run away this time. When you fail in life, you have choices of like trying to learn from the experience and turn it into something positive. Or you can put your head in the ground and pretend like it never happened and just kind of move on and, be scared and whimper off. But I learned not to whimper off anymore, and life was a lot better. One sec, I'm going to unmute and see what we're doing here. Still music. We're going to wait on that. But yeah, so somewhere along the way, I got really interested. And I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not running away anymore. I realized that I'm a rat in a cage, running around in a wheel every day, doing shit I don't want to do, watching my life go by, watching the minutes go by, and watching myself get older. And not living the life that I want to live. And I just got tired of it. And I said, I'm going to learn how to do it this time, and I'm going to get rich. And I do believe in manifest destiny. I believe that if you work hard to build up, and again, you actually have to apply yourself too. But if you work hard to build up and learn and tell yourself you can do things, and then persevere through them, and then learn and learn and learn, and not just make mistakes and repeat them, but try and learn from them and then grow as a human being, I think really amazing things can happen in your life. And the fact that I'm a high school dropout who went to high school for a year and a half. My nephew didn't even graduate from 8th grade. Now he's getting his GED, or at least working hard towards it. But I didn't even graduate past 10th grade. And I dropped out of high school, and I had a really lackluster life. And now I didn't even, one of the reasons I dropped out of high school, I didn't want to do speech class. I didn't want to be in front of a bunch of people talking. How funny is that? Now I never shut the fuck up, but, and I'm in front of a bunch of people, and I have no problem with it. So like, I don't know, life, you don't know what you're capable of is like the best advice I can provide. This is a really long-winded answer to a question. Intelligent computing. Awesome, man. Nice to see you. But I would just encourage people not to give up in life and to work really hard and to tell themselves they can do shit. Don't have an inner voice that says that you suck. If your inner voice says that you suck, you're fucked. You're fucked. You're going to live a very sad life. So make sure that inner voice tells you that you're great and that you're going to do wonderful things, and you back it up with action. All right, let me see here. Thanks for sharing your knowledge, brother. Anytime, man. Hey, Jesse, thoughts of the DXY? Thank you. I think it's trending sideways, and it might end up going a lot higher. You're with us now. You're not allowed to go bankrupt, right? Fair enough. Well, hey, if it makes you feel better, I made 700% last year. I like to repeat that over and over again. This year, I'm down a little over 20%, but it's getting better. Made back about $250,000 in the last 2 days, so I don't hate that. Jeff Meets World, learn how to use leaps. Jesse has a video on it. I do, and I honestly, guys, just go slow on using options. Oh, here we go. I'll talk more after.
Welcome to Texas, home. The home of Tesla. My name is Brandon Earhart. I'm the General Counsel and Corporate Secretary, and this meeting is going to be in two parts. First, we're going to cover the 12 items that stockholders have been asked to vote on, as well as any other matters that have been properly presented.
Can you guys hear that well?
Second, our founder and CEO, Elon Musk, will provide a presentation. During the course of the following sessions, we may discuss our business outlook and make other forward-looking statements. Such statements are predictions based on current expectations. Actual events or results could materially differ due to a number of risks and uncertainties, including those disclosed in our most recent 10-K or 10-Q as filed with the SEC. Such forward-looking statements represent our views as of today, should not be relied on hereafter, and we disclaim any obligation to update them after today. At this time, I'd like to thank members of the Tesla team and the board that are here in attendance. A representative from PricewaterhouseCoopers, Tesla's independent auditor, is also present. But before we begin, I'd like to introduce you to our board chair, Robin Denholm, who would like to say a few words.
All right, I upped the dB. Hopefully it sounds better. Let me know.
Thanks, Brandon, and hello, everyone. As chair of Tesla's board, I am honored to welcome you all to our home, Texas, for our annual 2024 annual shareholder meeting. And when I say I'm honored to welcome you, our shareholders, I truly am. No other company in the world has such a diverse, engaged, and supportive set of shareholders as Tesla. No other shareholder base understands its
Tesla Boomer Mama, please say something about her.
Company like you do, nor is as committed to Tesla's mission to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy like you are. It is a shareholder base whose interests the board are proud to represent. It is also a shareholder base that understands that in order to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy and a sustainable energy economy, Tesla needs to develop the most revolutionary technologies, not only in autos, but in energy and artificial intelligence as well. Our achievements this past year are steps towards fulfilling our mission. Some highlights include the Model Y becoming the best-selling vehicle in the world in 2023. Beginning deliveries of the much-anticipated Cybertruck, proving that the muscle and utility of a pickup truck can be electric and cool. And our energy storage deployments reaching an all-time high in 2023, with the deployment trend continuing in 2024. By using our products, Tesla customers avoided releasing over 20 million metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions in 2023. That is the equivalent of 51 billion miles driven by ICE vehicles, an increase of about 18 billion avoided ICE miles since 2022. But to continue the exponential growth in greenhouse gas emission avoidance, we not only have to get our products into as many customers' hands as possible, but we also need to increase the utilisation of our products. And to help further with that goal, we released FSD Supervised, demonstrating that our approach to autonomy is scalable and that accomplishments in artificial intelligence, along with leveraging our existing production lines to get our next generation products to market faster, are essential to achieving our mission. We have made and plan to make further investments in hardware and software ecosystem to further advance our path to autonomy and set a course to realisation of robotaxis. But sustainability is not just about avoiding emissions. It needs to take into account the whole life cycle from the manufacturing of the products to the product's end of life. That is why we source responsibly. We design our manufacturing processes to use less water per vehicle than the industry average. And for the third year in a row, we power our supercharger network with 100% renewables energy. And we are also working to build a battery material recycling ecosystem, both internally and with others, to ensure that we are moving towards a truly circular economy for energy storage. In 2023 alone, we supported the recovery of enough battery materials to build 43,000 new rear-wheel drive Model Ys. That result is the epitome of a sustainable economy. While sustainability is our mission, we also have the goal of safety. Our cars are engineered to be some of the safest in the world, and we take real-world data from our fleet and our ability to push over-the-air updates to optimise safety for all our vehicle models. Our attention to autonomy also plays a role in our goal of safety. Based on 2023 data, Tesla vehicles with driver assist technologies engaged have only a 1 vehicle accident per 5.64 million miles driven. Compared to the US, yeah, I think it's worth clapping. Compared to the US vehicle fleet of 1 accident per 670,000 miles driven. So not only are you protecting the environment by driving a Tesla, you're also protecting yourself and those who ride with you. With another year of progress in furthering our mission under our belt, I want to take this moment to thank our phenomenal Tesla employees, whose creativity, hard work, and dedication are the source of our success. Yes, huge thanks. And as most are also shareholders alongside each and every one of you, I hope each employee takes pride in the role that you have played in Tesla's accomplishments. I am proud of you, and the board and I appreciate you tremendously. Finally, I want to remind our shareholders that your board is listening, and we are here to represent your interests. You are, yes. You are the owners of the company, and your voices, your perspectives, and your input are critical to us as a board and to the direction of the company. My fellow directors and I serve as your fiduciaries and oversee Tesla's mission, purpose, and strategy with those responsibilities in mind. We continuously set the highest standards for ethical behaviour, corporate citizenship, and corporate governance. You don't see the day-to-day work of the directors, but I can assure you this is a highly engaged board, and I would like to thank my fellow directors for their dedication, whether it be inside the boardroom, meeting with our shareholders, or working closely with our team members throughout the company. Tesla is unique. Thank you. Thank you. Tesla is unique in how active and large our retail shareholder base is, and we hope you here in this room and our shareholders joining us virtually today continue to take advantage of our shareholder platform to enhance your engagement with Tesla. I want to give a special shout out to our small but mighty IR team and legal team and everyone involved in running this year's proxy campaign, both inside and outside of Tesla.
Boomer mama. Boomer mama.
There is still much to do, but it has galvanised us around the strong belief that the right things are always worth fighting for. Thank you.
Fuck yeah.
And now I'll hand it back. Thank you.
Hells
Now I'm
yeah.
going to hand it back to Brandon. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. So I will now call the meeting to order. The time is now 3:40 p.m. Central.
It's going to
and
get
I
boring
declare
for a
that
minute.
The polls are now open. We have already received over the past few weeks voting proxies from our stockholders. However, if you wish to vote your shares at this time, you may do so through the virtual meeting portal. Or if you want to vote in person, ballots and ballot boxes are available at the front. Tesla's board of directors has appointed Tony Cardidio, a representative of the Cardidio Group, to serve as the inspector of election. In addition, Broadridge Financial Services has certified that starting on April 29th, 2024, the proxy materials or notice of internet availability for proxy materials were mailed or provided to all Tesla stockholders.
This part's really fucking boring, just so you know. It'll get better, but we got to work through this.
The outstanding shares represented at the meeting. So I declare that there was a quorum present and that we may.
Oh, being on a board of anything is horrific.
The agenda are as follows. There are 5 Tesla proposals. The election of 2 Class II directors, James Murdoch and Kimball Musk, to serve for a term of 3 years or until their respective successors are duly elected and qualified. Yeah. To approve executive compensation on a non-advisory basis. To approve the re-domestication of Tesla from Delaware to Texas via conversion.
I hope all these things happen. I also hope Kimball gets to stay on the board. He's a good balance to Elon.
To ratify the 100% performance-based stock option award to Elon Musk that was previously approved by stockholders in 2018. To ratify the appointment of PricewaterhouseCoopers LLP as Tesla's independent registered public accounting firm for the fiscal year 2024. Tesla's board has recommended that our stockholders vote for each of the 2 director nominees and for each of the 4 other Tesla proposals. We have also received 7 stockholder proposals that are described in the proxy statement. I would like to remind our stockholders that Tesla's board has prepared a statement.
So you'll get to hear a bunch of activists who hate the fucking company trying to tell you what they want to have passed. There's a decent amount of that every single one of these.
And in opposition to these proposals, which also appear in our proxy statement. So let's turn to those 7 stockholder proposals. The first one is an advisory vote regarding reduction of director terms to 1 year. Our board has recommended that our stockholders vote against this, as explained in the proxy. This stockholder proposal is proposed by Mr. James McRitchie, who has prepared a pre-recorded message.
Thank you. We presented a similar proposal in 2021. 55% supported it, even though the board put up a competing proposal, accountability every other year instead of every year. Neither received the required 67% of shares owned. 90% of the S&P 500 have a declassified board. Most institutional shareholders will again support our proposal. Join them. The recent Delaware court case identified 3 legal deficiencies at Tesla. Directors were not independent, the facts of the pay plan presented to investors were misleading, and the board failed to negotiate properly. A major part of the cure is declassifying the board so shareholders can hold directors accountable or submit their own nominations. Matt Mascardi of Free Float calls proposal number 6 the most important vote today, since it may enable investors to change the board, bringing new skills and professionalism. John Chevedden's simple majority vote is the other crucial vote. Another important endorser is Nell Minow, co-founder of companies including proxy advisor ISS. The Musk premium is already eroding. Tesla is Musk's liquid piggy bank since its public.
Fuck this asshole. Also, if you guys could hit the likes, it would be greatly appreciated for the 500 people here. Thank you very much.
Publicly traded. His other companies are not. Either he sticks around long enough to use our shareholder capital to fund his other ventures, or he shifts his attention sooner if we reject his pay package and turn off the money tap. Bite the bullet. Prepare for a future that doesn't depend on a superhero dictatorship. We need to transition.
Fuck this asshole. This is the part I was telling you about. This is when all the assholes that are activists that actually hate Elon Musk and want to destroy him get to have their opportunity to propose something. It's literally it.
From a board dominated
Rarely ever anything good is in here.
by friends and family to one of expert independent directors in engineering, software, and other relevant fields. Musk is a genius. I'm saddened to see him focus his attention elsewhere, but it is happening. Don't let him
I'm sorry you don't like his politics, whoever the fuck you are.
siphon off more from Tesla. We need to transition to a more democratic Tesla that can attract customers, employees, and shareholders seeking a better world ahead. Again, vote for number 6 and 7. Declassify the board for accountability. Lower the voting threshold for more flexibility. Vote now before the polls are closed. Your vote can make a significant difference in our future. Thank you.
Fuck you.
Thank you.
Listen to the
Thank you,
boos.
Mr. McRitchie.
Boo.
As a reminder, the board's response was contained in our proxy statement. The second stockholder proposal is an advisory vote regarding simple majority provisions in our governing documents. Our board has recommended against and are set forth for the reasons in the proxy. This stockholder proposal is proposed by Mr. John Chevedden, who is on the line to present this proposal. Mr. Chevedden, I would like to invite you to speak. You will have 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
That got weird.
Hello, this is John Chevedden. Proposal 7, simple majority vote. Shareholders request that the Board of Directors take the necessary steps so that each voting requirement in the Charter and bylaws that calls for a greater than simple majority vote be replaced by a requirement for a majority of the votes cast for and against such proposals, or a simple majority. This includes making the necessary changes in plain English. This Proposal 7 is the exact same concept that the Tesla Board of Directors supported at the 2022 Tesla annual meeting. The 2022 Tesla Board of Directors proposal then won 98% support from the Tesla shareholders who voted. And the Board of Directors version of this proposal would have been adopted earlier if the Board of Directors had only made a slight effort to encourage more Tesla shareholders to vote for their proposal. This simple majority vote standard proposal will help improve Tesla shareholder rights. Tesla now scores a dismal 10 in shareholder rights, with 10 being the worst possible score. The Tesla Board of Directors supported this proposal concept in 2022 and should do so today.
Is that in the DEI score? I'm not sure which score they're talking about. Is it their ESG score where Exxon does better than them? I mean, I don't fucking know. Who cares?
Attention to Tesla and is threatening to withhold advanced technology from Tesla unless it gets a $56 billion pay.
These people are such shit. Do they hang out with Ross Gerber on the weekends?
Move an outrageous $56 billion CEO paycheck. Plus, there's no promise with the $56 billion paycheck that Mr. Musk will devote any minimum percentage of his time to Tesla.
Yeah, let's not pay Elon Musk the money we fucking promised him when we passed a vote that didn't include Kimball or Elon Musk with 73% approval and majority of the shareholders. Let's not honor that fucking request. People like this are the worst kind of fucking humanity.
Simple majority vote, Proposal 7.
Thank you, Mr. Chevedden. As a reminder, the board's response is set forth in the proxy. Our third stockholder proposal is an advisory vote regarding annual reporting on anti-harassment and discrimination efforts. Our board has recommended against for the reasons set forth in the proxy. This stockholder proposal is proposed by the New York State Common Retirement.
Oh, New York State. Who would have guessed? It's the same shit. It's all this ESG, DEI bullshit where these people want to control this company and they're hoping they can get shareholders to do their bidding. Fuck you to all these people.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Dr.
At least this bitch has the nerve to actually show up and talk.
behalf of lead filer, New York State Comptroller Thomas D. Paoli, trustee of New York State Retirement Fund, owner of Tesla shares valued at over $650 million as of March of this year. And I'm here as a co-filer of Proposal 8. The fund is a significant long-term owner of Tesla and has an explicit focus on investing in climate solutions. Longview Large Cap Fund, through its trustee Amalgamated Bank, AP7, and Arjuna join us in filing this resolution. Our firm name, NIA, means intention and purpose. We invest only in those companies we see building toward a better world.
Then shut the fuck up and buy more Tesla stock.
Founder of NIA, I had been proud in our early ownership of Tesla. I saw the potential and the need for innovation in the automotive and the clean energy market space. However, when looking under the frunk, we find failures in workplace management, one of the most important components of any business. Employees need to be hired, trained, motivated, and engaged to do high-quality work.
In the great words of Eric Cartman, put a bitch in and make it gay. I'm kidding, but I'm kind of not at the same time.
Feel both physically and emotionally safe at work. Investors are requesting the report outlined in Proposal 8 because workplace abuse, harassment, and discrimination have no place at Tesla. They can result in substantial costs, including employee turnover, increased absenteeism, and reduced productivity, as well as legal costs, all of which can impact shareholders' investments in the company. They may also lead to difficulties in recruiting high-quality employees, something that Tesla needs to remain innovative and at the forefront of a quickly moving technological landscape. We have expressed concerns about Tesla's workplace for years. And year after year, more harassment and discrimination allegations have emerged with few visible.
Tesla has a very high approval ranking for working for the company. Now, it's not as high as some companies where they give you everything and don't require anything of you. Tesla is really fucking hard to work for. This company is very driven. People that do not work hard do not do well. I don't believe there's blatant harassment and racism running rampant throughout Tesla. The fucking CEO of SpaceX is a woman.
Why I now formally move Proposal 8, requesting that Tesla's board commission an independent report on the effectiveness of the company's efforts to prevent harassment and discrimination within this revolutionary and innovative workspace. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Hall. The board's response is set forth in the proxy materials. Let's turn to the fourth stockholder proposal, which is an advisory vote regarding the adoption of freedom of association and collective bargaining policy. Our board has recommended against for the reason.
Yeah, get all the shitty things out of the way right away. That's true, Shale. That's exactly true.
Representative Tezel Patel has prepared a pre-recorded message.
Hello, I'm Tejal Patel, the Executive Director of the SOC Investment Group, and I hereby move Proposal 9, a shareholder proposal requesting that Tesla Board of Directors adopt and disclose a non-interference and collective bargaining policy that upholds international labor rights standards in its operations. This resolution was submitted with other co-filers, and we are concerned that Tesla's existing policy fails to clearly explain how conflicts between international and local labor law will be resolved, and because of clear indications that Tesla is not adhering to its current policy despite the operational, legal, human capital management, and reputational risks involved. We recognize that Tesla revised its global human rights policy in April 2023 to explicitly refer to the rights of workers to free association and collective bargaining, but these revisions were fatally compromised. The statement committing to respect these rights includes the qualifier in conformance with local law, rather than referencing the often higher international human rights standards, suggesting that Tesla respects these rights only as explicitly required by local laws. Numerous signs suggest that Tesla is not respecting its workers' fundamental rights. In Sweden, Tesla has faced months-long strikes and boycotts over what has been characterized.
Yeah, no shit. Who gives a fuck about Sweden, first off? But you're right, intelligent computing. bots will eliminate the need for these employee concerns in the future. And I'm sorry if you're bitching about Tesla conforming to local laws for a given country. I'm sure they have reasons for doing what they're doing. I know people were bitching about cobalt and then they were taking it out of all their batteries. They're doing everything they can to prevent child labor and other things from happening. It's not going to be perfect. The world isn't perfect. Let's move on.
And Tesla's workplace technology policy served to unlawfully discourage employees from.
But the robots won't bitch this much, at least initially.
It is also relevant for shareholders to consider the broader human capital management risks Tesla faces, including reports of higher health and safety violations and injury rates than peers, and numerous lawsuits alleging of hostile work environments. Freedom of association and collective bargaining are considered enabling rights, meaning that they empower workers to effectively advocate for additional labor rights, including the.
Yeah, we want unions, right, guys? We gotta give Joe Biden his unions. Otherwise, we can't even recognize anything Tesla does.
Commitment to non-interference, good faith collective bargaining, and adherence to higher international standards would help Tesla better mitigate these human capital management risks, as well as operational and reputational risks, like we are seeing in Sweden. Therefore,
the only risks are that in the future, assholes like all the people we've listened to so far have control over the company.
Response is set forth in the proxy. The fifth stockholder proposal is an advisory vote regarding reporting on.
And that's the fucking reason why we just gave Elon all of his options back, is so that they won't have control over the company. Just to be clear, that was the entire fucking reason.
By Lendrell Purcell, whose representative, Dr. Devra Davis, has prepared a pre-recorded message.
I am Deborah Davis, founder of Environmental Health Trust. I am speaking with you today on behalf of shareholder Lendrell Purcell regarding her proposal seeking an annual report on the risks from magnetic fields and wireless radiation in their products. I'm also speaking on behalf of millions of young children, infants and toddlers, and pregnant women who are more vulnerable to wireless radiation, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. I'm the founding director of the Board on Environmental Studies and Toxicology from the National Academy of Sciences, and I've published more than 220 scientific articles on environmental health and have concluded, along with hundreds of other experts, that current exposures to non-ionizing electromagnetic fields, called EMF, constitute a serious and unrecognized public health risk. Tesla vehicles operate with a 1,200-pound battery that emits magnetic fields and also uses wireless equipment such as Wi-Fi and radar emitting wireless radiation. Tesla should provide transparent information on measured exposures and efforts to reduce them. The World Health Organization has concluded that both low levels of EMF and microwave or cellular radiation are, quote, possible carcinogens, the same category as some pesticides and gasoline. The companies that provide secondary insurance, like law.
And what the fuck does this lady know about any of the science behind this?
To asbestos due to potential health and environmental damages. Tesla shareholders have a right to know.
Now, if we only get rid of technology like cell phones and everything else in our fucking house, including our wireless mesh networks and all of our tablets and our fucking computers and everything, then we'll be fine and we'll have none of these problems.
District of Columbia determined that the FCC had been, quote, arbitrary and capricious in its failure to consider all of the science and refusal to update wireless limits. Tesla has failed to inform consumers about the measured levels of magnetic fields and wireless radiation within the automobile or their other products. Infants and toddlers by law are strapped into seats to protect them during crashes, but they have no protection from EMF that can go more deeply into their thinner skulls. To mitigate risks for Tesla, the company could shield its vehicles and ensure wireless antennas could be easily turned off. Hardware and software changes can lower exposures generally. Tesla has developed extremely rigorous compliance and hazard screenings beyond regulatory requirements for certain toxic chemicals. Yeah. Investors can encourage the company.
Yeah, the sun does emit a lot of radiation. If we could get somebody to turn that off, but then depression might go up too. And maybe we'd have more employees that would be unsatisfied with their work and feel like they're being discriminated against in some way or sexually harassed. So it gets really complicated if you turn off the sun. But I do agree, intelligent computing. Maybe that would be good too.
The board's response is set forth in the proxy. Let's move on to the sixth
Almost everything emits radiation for people that aren't big into science.
and reporting on metrics to assess the feasibility of integrating sustainability metrics into senior executive compensation
is that a dude?
plans.
I don't know.
Our board has recommended against for the reasons set forth in the proxy. This stockholder proposal is proposed by Tulip Share Securities Limited, whose representative Constant Ricketts has prepared a pre-recorded message.
Good afternoon. Fellow shareholders, thank you for your time. I'm Constance Ricketts,
All right, now I like her based upon her tone, but we'll see how bad it gets.
and today I'm speaking on behalf of Tulip Share in support of Proposal 11, urging Tesla to integrate sustainability metrics, including diversity among senior executives, into executive compensation plans.
Oh, and now we're in DEI mode. It's diversity and inclusion.
This proposal calls for robust,
She lost me.
quantitative targets and transparent reporting to both resolve executive pay plan controversies and ensure our company's long-term stability and success. Diversity and independence in leadership are essential for innovation and enhanced decision-making, while sustainability metrics in executive compensation reflect alignment.
Yeah, this is probably actually like Chat GPT, and Sam Altman pushed this one up because he's pissed at Elon Musk with his comments about Apple and Chat GPT being integrated to each other.
Sustainability metrics into executive pay plans, Tesla fails to do so. This is especially concerning given our mission to accelerate the world's transition to renewable energy. The recent ruling that voided our CEO's $56 billion pay package highlighted the need for fair and negotiated compensation plans that serve stockholders' best interests. Tesla's proxy statement does not offer substance.
Well, it's a good thing nobody gives a fuck about that.
How its ratification will cure prior deficiencies and lead to a different outcome. Likewise, the opposition to this proposal fails to show any evidence of an existing performance-based component integrated into the executive pay structure that respects established human rights due diligence processes and principles. Instead, it cites
I do agree with her. We need to create a new pay package for Elon Musk, another one on top of the one we just passed.
its human rights policy
But it doesn't need to include any of this bullshit.
that is wholly unrelated to executive compensation and doubles down on the argument that the currently contested executive pay structure is the only means of motivation to achieve our company's mission. This commitment to the status quo essentially dismisses the ongoing controversies that Tesla must face and overcome, including softening sales, advancing competition, split focus in leadership, a 30% drop in stock price, reduced market cap, mass layoffs, human rights violations, and ongoing legal challenges.
Wow, Tesla is evidently Satan reincarnated, guys. I hope you know this. So they've got a lot of work to do. If they could only, I don't know, create a more diverse board with better compensation that doesn't go to Elon Musk, maybe everything would be fucking okay. Right. Cool.
Via further share issuance. We also have the right to vote for our leadership's compensation to be commensurate with financial and sustainability performance. This does not mean we do not respect our leadership's time, energy, and contributions. Quite the contrary, as it is our duty as stockholders to ensure long-term viability and success for our company.
Thank you, Ms. Ricketts. The board's response is set forth in the proxy. Let's move on to the seventh stockholder proposal, which is an advisory vote regarding committing to a moratorium on sourcing minerals from deep-sea mining. Our board is recommended against for the reasons set forth in the proxy. This proposal is proposed by As You Sow, whose representative, Elizabeth Levy, has also recorded.
Yeah, or let's talk about the CEO of Rivian, who's made like more than $250 million off of a company that makes a $500,000 car and sells it for $245.
A pre-recorded message.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the board. My name is Elizabeth Levy, representing As You Sow, speaking on proposal number 12. We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the bottom of the ocean. Even so, a new industry is moving forward to exploit the deep sea. We believe this industry poses risks to Tesla now and into the future. Deep-sea mining is the process of dredging the ocean floor to extract battery-related minerals. It will indiscriminately destroy habitats and obliterate life in its path. Seabed mining could release carbon stores and toxic sediment plumes, poisoning marine food chains and disrupting
Yes,
sea life
Lucid.
breeding and migration. The deep sea is complex and abundant with life. Its ecosystems are slow-growing and fragile, with little to no ability to recover from outside disturbance. Plans are moving forward to launch the process for commercial-scale deep-sea mining with or without regulation. Tesla's membership in the OECD and IRMA mining protocols does not resolve this issue, as neither currently applies to mining in the deep sea. Over 800 marine science and policy experts, 25 countries, 72 indigenous groups, and 48 companies are calling for a ban, moratorium, or precautionary pause on deep-sea mining. This includes Tesla's competitors BMW, Renault, Rivian.
Yeah, because if Elon doesn't have enough control, like you said, that 25% that you were talking about, Frank, I understand why Elon needs that now. Yes, if he doesn't have that, then these people get into control, and then all of a sudden the company's doing 30 different initiatives that don't do anything to further the cause, that don't do anything to innovate, that don't do anything to help push them forward and keep them at the forefront. And so, again, I care about the things that the company cares about. And some of these things, there might be some diamonds in the rough, but most of it's fucking trash.
Volkswagen, and Volvo. Even General Motors has stated,
I mean, what deep sea mining is Tesla doing? Is, again, this is just trying to get Tesla to control some other emerging market.
it does not plan to use deep-sea mine minerals. Our company's public stance on deep-sea mining matters. Tesla is the face of the EV transition, and its ambiguous position on deep-sea mining could drive investment in this controversial industry. Conversely, a clear stance restricting Tesla's use of deep-sea minerals can drive innovation in battery mineral tech, recycling, and circularity. With these technologies,
Frank.
even the most ambitious future EV use scenarios could be met without harming the deep sea. Tesla's failure to take a stand on deep-sea mining, combined with the fact that a former Tesla board director is now serving as a board member and special advisor to the CEO of the metals company, the very company leading the charge on deep-sea mining, raises concerns.
What the fuck? What are they supposed to... This guy doesn't work for Tesla anymore. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. Assuming it's a him.
Such a relationship appears to imply that Tesla supports the metals company in its deep-sea mining activity.
Because a former employee went to a company that does this, this means that Tesla supports it.
Committing to a moratorium will clarify expectations and reduce reputational harm to the company, assuring customers and investors that Tesla will indeed wait until science shows deep-sea mining will not cause significant or irreparable damage. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Levy. The board's response is set forth in the proxy. Please note that now is the final opportunity to submit any votes in order for them to be counted. I declare that the polls are now closed. Based on the proxies that we have received and the votes submitted at this meeting, I'd like to announce the results on a preliminary basis. With respect to the 7 stockholder proposals, our stockholders have approved the recommendations of the Tesla board on all of them except for Proposal 6 regarding director terms and Proposal 7 regarding simple majority voting. Now moving on to the 5 Tesla proposals.
The good stuff.
First, our stockholders have approved the election of our 2 Class 2 directors, James Murdoch and Kimball Musk, to serve for a term of 3 years and until their respective successors are duly elected and qualified.
Party on.
Second, our stockholders have approved executive compensation on a non-binding advisory basis. Third, our stockholders have approved the ratification of appointment of PricewaterhouseCoopers LLP as Tesla's independent registered public accounting firm for the 2024 fiscal year. Fourth, our stockholders have approved the redomestication of Tesla from Delaware to Texas.
Yeah. Woohoo! Take that, Delaware.
Fifth and finally, our stockholders have approved the ratification of the 100% performance-based stock option award to Elon Musk that was approved by stockholders in 2018.
Fuck yeah, man. I'm so happy right now. This is so great. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
The meeting is now closed, and with that, Tesla shareholders, let's welcome Elon Musk.
Here we go, the good stuff.
The goal is to give people hope that there is a path to a fully sustainable global economy, that we are on that path, that we are.
I actually think the company
could go bust.
Is the world's best-selling car, beating out Toyota's RAV4.
Sorry, I don't want the music to censor me out here. One sec, guys. It's the rapid biggest history when you could do unsupervised full self-driving.
History when you can do unsupervised.
Fuck it. I'll just take it. Whatever.
I mean, that just sounds like a story stock. Autonomous taxis. I mean, can you really balance your checkbook with, sort of pie in the sky predictions like that?
If you ask the wrong question, the right answer is impossible. My prediction is that a majority of Tesla's long-term value will be Optimus. And that prediction I'm very confident of. It's very rare a product comes along that is seemingly impossible, that experts said would never be made. And this is one of those times. Finally, the future will look like the future. People say, like, why'd you make it bulletproof? I'm like, why not?
The marketing team and investor relations team is getting better and better.
Energy storage deployments, the Megapack in particular, reached an all-time high in Q1, leading to record profitability for the energy business.
This is the machine that builds the machine, and the factory is the product. And this building is the most advanced car factory that Earth has ever seen.
If you value Tesla as an auto company, it's just the wrong framework. If somebody doesn't believe Tesla's going to solve autonomy, I think they should not be an investor in the company. But we will, and we are.
I mean, they don't need the vote anymore. I'm both intelligent computing. I love this man more than any other man I know.
Hey guys.
Elon. Say something about Tesla Boomer Mama.
Welcome to the Tesla shareholder meeting. And I just want to start off by saying, hot damn, I love you guys. Yeah. We have the most awesome shareholder base. I mean, it's just incredible. Any public company, it's incredible. Wow.
It is, yep.
We've got a great sort of shareholder meeting here to recap the achievements of the company and tell you about where we're going. And it's, I think it's incredible. I think we're not just opening a new chapter for Tesla, we're starting a new book. Okay.
Woo! I'm ready.
So those of you who have been following Tesla closely understand, like you get it, you know?
Yep.
And so like, the important thing is you get it. I mean, it's, where things are going, I think is just gonna be absolutely mind-blowing. We're obviously making great progress in solving the sustainable energy problem, with electric vehicles, with stationary storage, with solar, and then I think in terms of the value of the company, autonomy is just such a mind-blowing thing that, like I said, you guys understand, but I think most of the world does not yet understand. So, in talking to a lot of the sort of the big institutional investors, when they're often in like New York and they don't drive cars, So I'll be like, have you driven our car? Or have you tried self-driving?
I love that he's trolling these people.
You know, the version 12.3, and they're like, oh, no, okay. Well, you should try it. That would be a good thing to do. And if you just plot the points on the curve of how well autonomy is progressing and just believe the curve, it's headed towards unsupervised full self-driving very quickly at an exponential pace. If you just, yeah, it's, I mean, yeah, so. It's really as simple as that. And in fact, I'd invite you to just do it personally. Just say, okay, with each release, how many miles do you drive before you have to intervene? It's like literally that simple. With each release, you'll see there's a big improvement, and it looks like an exponential. So, and it's very clear that will actually go to the point where it is actually far safer than a person driving the car. And I have some insight into the next releases, because we've got basically for every release that's on the road, we kind of see what the next generation release is and a little bit about the release after that. So we have some insight into where it's going, and it's really amazing. No question whatsoever that will far exceed human safety. Yeah, no question. So, and I think I have mentioned this, but like sometimes it's like helpful to sort of reiterate and connect some of the dots, because sometimes people wonder, well, how do you go from this big fleet to actually monetizing the fleet in an autonomous situation? And it's actually a combination of it's like Airbnb and Uber to some degree. So there'll be some cars that Tesla owns itself, and it's kind of like an Uber fashion. But then for the fleet that is owned by our customers, it will be like an Airbnb thing. You can add or subtract your car to the fleet whenever you want. So you can say, I'm going away for a week. At just one tap on your Tesla app, your car gets added to the fleet, and it just makes money for you while you're gone. Yeah.
That's fucking awesome. I so can't wait.
So you can say you can add it to the fleet for a few hours, for a few days, for a few weeks. Whenever you want it back, you can say, come back, and the car will come right back. And I'm highly confident that it will far exceed the value, the revenue made by the owner of the car will far exceed the actual monthly payment. And then Tesla will obviously take a rev share on that, but most of the money will go to the owner of the car, and this is actually going to work. This is what will happen. So mark my words, this is simply a matter of time. Now, admittedly, I'm a little optimistic sometimes. So I don't have complete lack of self-awareness. But if I wasn't optimistic, this wouldn't exist. This factory wouldn't exist.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
So, I saw my brother, who's awesome. He's here. Just got reelected. No, sorry, those things. So, it's like a little anecdote. Like when we were kids in school, my brother would tell me the wrong time for the bus so that I wouldn't miss the bus. And then I'd be upset with him, like, why'd you tell me the bus was going to come earlier than it was? And he's like, well, because otherwise you'd be late for the bus. This is an actual thing that would happen. So I guess I've been sort of pathologically optimistic from birth. But that's the reason all this stuff is happening anyway. It's like I got to be somewhat pathologically optimistic, but I do deliver in the end. That's the important thing. So, yeah, and it's really just going to be something else. I mentioned this before, but for ARK Invest, I'd recommend reading the ARK Invest analysis. That's the most accurate. There may be more accurate ones, but the most accurate sort of analysis of the potential of autonomy. The most.
That's the one that has up to a $15,000 price target over the next 5 years.
Accurate that I'm aware of is Kathy Wood's ARK Invest. And if I recall correctly, they predicted somewhere over a $5 trillion valuation for Tesla, just based on vehicle autonomy, not counting Optimus.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Nice job, BD.
So I think just based on vehicle autonomy, we can 10x, more than 10x the value of the company. I believe that's what will happen. Hey, no, it's just what do you know? It's 4:20 p.m. I just noticed that. You know. I think that's actually, I think that's pretty accurate. But it actually gets way crazier when you think about the Optimus robot, which is really a humanoid robot that is intended to, be able to do anything you want it to do, to be, your companion. It can be at your house. It can sort of babysit your kids. It could teach them. It could be a teacher. It can do factory stuff. I think that the ultimate ratio of, you say, how many super useful humanoid helper droids do you want? Like, who doesn't want a C-3PO? But a C-3PO plus R2-D2 plus, plus. It would be pretty awesome. I think everyone in the world is going to want one, like literally everyone. And then there will be obviously robots in industry making stuff, and so I think the ratio of humanoid robots to humans will probably be at least 2 to 1, something like that. 1 to 1 for sure. It's going to want one, which means like somewhere on the order of 10 billion humanoid robots, maybe 20 or 30, and so then it's like, okay, well, let's say, you kind of make, let's say the build rate is, I think the build rate will be probably something ultimately like 1 billion a year, humanoid robots, like actually. And if Tesla just has a 10% share of that, and it might be a lot more than 10%, and there's, we make like 100 million Optimus units a year. For reference, the auto industry is roughly 100 million vehicles per year. So that, sort of similar ballpark, at least within an order of magnitude. And I think we could make one for a cost of maybe, at really high scale, of about $10,000. It's smaller, it'll be less expensive than a car. So, and I think if you sell it for $20,000 or something, this is at large scale volume, Tesla would basically make about $1 trillion of profit a year from that.
$1 trillion a year in profit.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
If the price earnings multiple is, say, I don't know, 20 or 25, something like that, that would mean a $20 trillion market cap from Optimus alone. And probably 5 to 10 from autonomous vehicles. So, I think it's actually conceivable, it's within the realm of possibility for Tesla to achieve a valuation 10 times that of the most valuable company today.
He's not wrong. That's a fucking jarring thing to say, though.
So when I say this is like we're starting a new book, I mean, it's going to be the best book. Next level. Next level. No, we need to make sure these robots are nice to us, and, that's very important. Yeah. So anyway, so with that, let me get into the presentation. Blah, 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 blah.
I love this guy so much.
Oh, man. I think it might be worth us just putting a word limit on future shareholder Tesla proposals.
Oh, I love that.
It's like you can't have like a novel length, it's kind of like we can't have a whole novel as a Tesla Tesla proposal. So, as you can see, our impact is accelerating. We're starting to make a real noticeable dent in carbon emissions. So we're really, making a lot of progress towards achieving our goal of sustainability. And one of the effects of autonomy is going to be an even greater effect on carbon emissions, because I suspect that we'll go from passenger cars having about 10 hours of usage per week, about an hour and a half per day, to probably a third of the hours in the week, maybe 50, 55 hours, which means the same car will be used 5 times more often. So you need a certain amount of resources to make the car, but it'll have 5 times the usage, in my opinion. I think that's quite likely, which will be an even more dramatic impact on carbon emissions. So, we care a lot about sustainable manufacturing. Our factories are beautiful. Like, you walk around the factory, it's actually, contrary to these, like, what you read in the press, it's like a good vibe in the factory. Like, people are smiling and happy. It's like, it's nice. So yeah. We do care. We actually do care a lot at Tesla about doing the right thing, and we're not going to be perfect, but we do care a lot about doing the right thing. So our vehicles are water efficient, energy efficient. We try whenever possible to use renewables for powering the factory, and do our best to do the right thing. Our batteries are lasting a lot longer. I got too many things, man. Anyway, the batteries are lasting a lot longer, which is good. Safety is good in the factory. We're improving the affordability of EVs. Model Y is comparable to a BMW X3, but its actual cost of ownership on a monthly basis is much lower.
Half.
We were #1 in EVs globally last year. So, yeah. So, yeah. So let's see. And congrats to the Tesla team on making 6 million vehicles all time. So,
6 million vehicles that can pay $100 a month. Well, I mean, some bought the package.
So the Tesla fleet is really becoming very substantial. It's going to be 7 million vehicles by the end of this year. Over 7 million vehicles.
Crazy.
So, and our factory in Fremont is currently the highest volume auto factory in North America. So, and we broke the prior production record from when it was NUMMI. So it's actually pretty wild that we have a giant car factory in the San Francisco Bay Area. It's not exactly the cheapest place to have a car factory.
Very
it's
true.
like that in the Swiss Alps or something, But we still managed to make great cars at high volume, and that's a testament to the great team we've got in Fremont. So congrats to the Fremont team. And a lot of people were saying the Cybertruck is like fake; it's never going to come out. Now we're shipping a lot of Cybertrucks. We hit a weekly record of 1,300.
Wow, they're already at 1,300 run rate. 2,600 in 2 weeks, 5,200 in a month. That's awesome. And I can attest, it's real.
And, I think that with the Cybertruck, it really is something special. Like, people sometimes have different opinions.
Best car I've ever owned, by far. Steer-by-wire will change your life.
Opinions on the Cybertruck, but if you really want to know if something is cool, if it's a great product, show it to a kid.
Dude, whenever I drive by a pool, a fucking school setting, some kids on a bus, they scream Cybertruck. You can have a 5-year-old screaming because they're seeing a Cybertruck everywhere I go.
Okay. Like, no filter. Okay, the kid's got like no filter, like a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, something like that, and or even 3-year-old, and say, which car do you like? Cybertruck.
Yep.
So it's like, that's how you know. It's finally something that
right.
it just looks like the future. And it drives so well. It's comfortable. It's just a fantastic product. I think it's our best product, and it's a lot of innovation. It's got a 48 volts low voltage system. Finally, instead of 12 volts, 800 volt drivetrain, the world's biggest castings. It's bulletproof. All the cool things can outpull a F350 diesel, which is a very impressive truck, and it can it can do a quarter mile faster than a Porsche 911 while towing a Porsche 911. So that's insane. So yeah. And if you think about it, like how often do companies make products that move your heart, that are really special?
Rarely.
It's so rare, and I think this is one of them. So yeah. And we launched the upgraded 3, which is actually a fantastic car. I recommend trying it out. It's really
a Porsche for
$300
a month,
and it's only $216 after gas savings. Like total cost of ownership, it's basically $200 and something when compared to a gasoline car, a similar gasoline car. So it's really a great deal and a fun car. And the performance, Model 3 performance is, well, it's like, faster than a Porsche 911. It's just a great car. So, yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. And of course, Model Y became the best-selling vehicle globally. And this is something that we predicted. I think I said in like 2022, Model Y would be the biggest car in the world by dollar volume sales, and that 2023 it would be the biggest in unit volume, and it was.
He was fucking right again.
Again, this year it will be the best-selling car on Earth. So, yeah. We've got the Tesla Semi. We're in low volume production of the Tesla Semi, and just last week I approved the plans for volume production of the Tesla Semi.
Getting ready to build that in mass.
So we're going to make a lot of semi-trucks. We're going to start off with, it's something, I think it'll actually move the needle financially. It's not like, it's not a small thing. And the thing about commercial vehicles is that companies that use them are super objective. It's not like, it's actually, I mean, obviously we're going to make it have cool style and be an awesome car, but for commercial vehicles, the companies that make the buying decisions, they just look at it and say, like, what are the numbers? Like, is this cost less to transport or cost more to transport than say, a diesel truck? And the thing is that the economics are much better than a diesel truck. It's kind of basically a no-brainer. If you're a transport company, you don't use the Tesla electric Semi, you're just losing money. Why would you do that? Do you not like money? Okay. But if you do like money, then I recommend using the Tesla Semi.
My bad, one sec. So to put that into perspective, I would have paid over $700 in the last month while I put 2,700 miles on my Tesla Cybertruck if I would have been paying the gas prices in my local region in the Midwest. And instead, I paid about $140 in electricity. That's kind of a good deal, saving $550 a month. I'm just saying.
So I think this is really going to actually sell at a scale that people will be surprised at and will actually move the needle financially and do a lot of good. And also for CO2 and sustainability, because semis are driven all the time, actually, even at much smaller numbers, they have a very big effect on total carbon emissions solved. So obviously we've got some new products that we're working on under the
August
covers.
8th, August 8th.
And I think these are, I think these are going to be pretty special. So, some of them, I think people maybe at first may think, oh, it's not going to be that amazing, but just wait. It will be. So. So our supercharger network is continuing to grow. Rumors of the death of the supercharger are greatly exaggerated. We are, in fact, continuing to grow the supercharger network significantly. In fact, this year, I think
58,000 superchargers right now.
I think we'll deploy more superchargers this year that are actually working than the rest of industry combined. Just FYI. So
unbelievable. I mean, it's believable.
Now we are going to be more careful about the capital efficiency of where we deploy superchargers. But for sure, any place that has congestion, any sort of missing parts of the map that we're missing, we're going to put the superchargers there. So even for the remainder of the year, we expect to spend about $500 million on supercharger deployment. So it's very significant, and it'd be a well-spent $500 million. So this is, it's a lot. So, and this is actually not showing a bunch of new markets that will be opening up later this year and next. So we're obviously we want Tesla to be worldwide, and there's still a lot of countries that we, have zero to very few Teslas, and we want Tesla everywhere. So. There are a lot of new markets that we're going to open up later this year and next. We're also opening the superchargers to other companies with the that's the adapter to the old
Look at that
somewhat clunky
stupid fucking
connector.
Adapter.
But our goal is to be helpful to other car companies. So any other car companies that are going electric. We do want to be helpful to them with our supercharger network. So we're providing them with adapters and enabling them to have access to the Tesla supercharging network because we think it's better to do that than to create a walled garden that inhibits EV growth.
This is such a brilliant idea. They're going to end up making so much money and controlling the vast infrastructure of the charging network for the world.
Oops, there was a bit of latency here. And we're also innovating a lot in battery production with the 4680 that's built right here. It's a hard problem, Like there are entire companies that just make battery cells. That's all they do. But we're making good progress. Like all the Cybertrucks that you see use the Tesla 4680 cell. We have a clear path to the 4680 being, we think, probably the most competitive cell from a manufacturing efficiency standpoint. And so it is a hard problem, I have to say. There's quite a lot of brain damage required to be good at cell manufacturing. It's like a brain damage high. But I think it does give Tesla
resilience in the face of if there are changes in the, I don't know, geopolitical situation somehow. But it's good to have some independence in cell manufacturing. Yeah, and we're making steady progress, and we also have the cathode refinery, which you can see behind the main factory. So you can sort of see it in the picture there. That's a cathode refinery, and then we've got the lithium refinery in South Texas. And so we're just making sure we've kind of got the pieces of the puzzle. And I mean, if you were to look at sort of a video of how Tesla does, say, cathode and lithium refining and how the rest of industry does it, it's night and day. I mean, you can sort of eat off the floor in the Tesla refinery, and I would not recommend doing so in the others. So, you know, we're definitely going very, very vertical here. But I think this is it's a wise investment that will pay off more than people realize. So.
Fuck yeah, Elon. You guys are killing me in the comments with Part Due and Elon Strikes Back. I love you guys.
I don't think this thing's working. So this year, we're also on track to complete a massive number of energy deployments. So that is a gigantic increase in deployment capability.
Look at that bar for under the megafactory capacity. Look at that. Look at the increase we're getting ready to see in energy. And they've got years of buildup, a backlog of energy.
We seem to be tracking to sort of a 200% to 300% year-over-year growth in energy storage deployment and stationary.
Up to 300% year-over-year growth. People just, whatever.
Pack. So it's giant. And the limiting factor really is being able to build more megapacks and build more Powerwalls. So we're ramping up production of the Powerwall 3, which is really a game changer for at the personal level. The Powerwall 3, it usually takes about 3 iterations of any given technology to really, for it to be something where it's like, okay, now we're really hitting the sweet spot. So Powerwall 3 is like an epic product. The Megapack is also, I'd call it sort of iteration 2 of the Megapack is also an epic product. With the Megapack 3, which is, I don't know, probably a couple years away, we'll start actually absorbing more and more of the substation of the sort of power electronics. So, because I sort of think you want to get to the point with the Megapack where you can literally just take the high voltage power lines and plug them in. There's no substation. We just plug them in. Just drop them down.
That's insane. Removing substations and just plugging these in.
And drop it down and plug it in. And now it works.
Wow.
Which is like mind-blowing for the utility industry, by the way.
That's crazy.
They're like, what? Yeah.
Wow.
You just plug the wires in and it'll work for very high voltage. So that I think is actually going to be a major. So this is.
I think one of the reasons people don't value Tesla properly is they don't even understand what the fuck he is saying. But what Elon just said is amazing. Not having to require a substation, just dropping these things in and being able to plug in high voltage is insanity. They're literally going to solve a lot of the issues people are talking about with the grid having problems in the future.
Anyway, so yeah, this is.
They'll create the problem and then solve it and reap rewards the entire time.
This is great. Excellent work by the energy storage team.
200 to 300% year-over-year growth.
Services and other are also looking good, so we're actually now making money on the services and other stuff. So this is kind of a big deal.
Wow.
Right? Yeah. So let's see.
Starlink is becoming a Dyson sphere.
Yeah, and Tesla's obviously way more than a car company. We've
Look at what Tesla does. When I started with this company in 2017 and 18, they were literally just a car company. And now they have full self-driving, Tesla insurance, service and collision. They create battery cells. They have charging locations more than any place on earth. They do lithium refining, energy storage, solar, and auto bidder to be able to get money exchanging back and forth between your utility companies and you. Fuck.
We do a lot of software at Tesla. About, I don't know, roughly half the, or a very huge.
And all of this pales in comparison to Optimus. It's a fraction. It's a drop in the bucket, all of it.
Percentage of the engineering we do is actually software engineering. So Tesla is, I'd say, as much a software company as it is a hardware company. This is a very big deal because car companies are not software companies normally. So this matters a lot. So things like our order-bidder software for energy storage, all the software that controls the cars, the megapacks, the power walls, the solar, obviously for AI and full self-driving are a big deal, insurance, service and collision. Tesla also writes a lot of software internally that helps, like we call the Tesla operating system internally, that is head and shoulders above what any other company has. I think probably better than any Fortune 500 company. The Tesla internal software is just way better. So it's just far more than what people normally think of as a car company. And Tesla is also the leader in real-world AI. So there's really, this is a big deal.
There's Optimus and
like
AI
Tesla's
compute.
Ahead of Google.
We got two more things in here. We got Dojo and we got Optimus now. Just look at this. Look at what this fucking company has become since 2017 and 18 when I started investing in it. 6-7 years ago. In 6 or 7 years, they've done this. Can you tell me any company in the history of this fucking planet that has done anything like this in 6 or 7 years? Remotely fucking close. Name them. I'm waiting.
OpenAI, anyone on real-world software actually taking in video and making decisions based on video. No one is even close, and it's getting better. I'd say with each passing month, if not each passing week. So, yeah. And it's also worth noting that Tesla is actually pretty good at chip design. So the AI inference chip that was designed by Tesla that's in cars, we had sort of our hardware 3 AI inference cars made over the past year have the hardware 4. We've just completed design on hardware 5, which we're now calling AI 5, because it really is. There still actually is not a chip from NVIDIA or from, and I have a lot of respect for NVIDIA, from any company that we would prefer to put in our car that is better than what we have in the car. So
their chips are better than NVIDIA and every other company on earth for what they're doing. This is how ASICs work. In case you don't know what an ASIC is, you should learn that. But like when you have purpose-driven chips and building because you know what the problem is.
So we started from scratch in chip design, just as we started from scratch in AI software, and have the best real-world AI software and the best AI inference chip in the world from nothing. So this is.
I don't think people realize this, but he's saying they have the best AI inference chip, not data training, not what NVIDIA's doing, but the best AI inference chip on the fucking planet right now.
Yeah, a big deal. And the capability of the chips in the car is dramatic. Like, I mean, right now, all the cars are actually training. Like we have hardware 4 run hardware 3 in emulation mode. So we'll continue to make significant progress on hardware 3, but later this year we'll actually bifurcate, continue working on hardware 3, on training on hardware 3, but then do separate training on hardware 4. That'll be the sort of training cluster that we're building at the south side of the Gigafactory. And that'll be dedicated hardware 4 video and inference. And so the hardware 4 has cameras that have about 4 or 5 times better resolution, and depending on how you count the sort of hardware 4, it's about anywhere from 3 to 8 times better than hardware 3. But everything you're seeing thus far is just hardware 3, and we still have a long way to go before we reach the limits of hardware 3. So hardware 3, I think, will do amazing things, but hardware 4, I think, will probably do about 5 times better. Then hardware 5, which comes out in about 18 months or so, is 10 times more capable than hardware 4. It's like...
So hardware 4 that I have in my Cybertruck right now is 5 times more capable than hardware 3, and hardware 5 will be 10 times more capable than hardware 3, which is what my Model Y from a couple of years ago that has 42,000 miles on it right now, 420, that's funny, it has. So, and I can tell you the cameras on the Cybertruck are fucking ridiculous. The view, everything is so much better. I can see why with a better chip you would be able to do more.
So if you know NVIDIA hardware, it's sort of a B200 class computer. That's like this. So what we'll just progressively do is improve how many nines of reliability the car gets. And then, of course, that will go into Optimus as well. So the same chip will go into, hardware 4 will go into Optimus, is an Optimus. Hardware 5, AI5, which we're calling switching from hardware 5 to AI5, will be in Optimus and in all cars in about 18 months. And it's really just a staggering amount of compute. And it's very power efficient compute. So it's got to be, because if you're in a mobile application like a humanoid robot or a car, you can't just be sucking down 10 kilowatts, like you can in a data center. So you've got to be very power efficient.
They won't sell chips to other companies. They'll make all of them. They'll lease out equipment and charge monthly fees that rake in tons of reoccurring revenue. This is a software company that happens to do a shit ton of other things. They will not sell these chips.
Sort of hardware 3 and 4 are only a few hundred watts. Yeah, it's
That's
hard.
Crazy. A few hundred watts. God. The stock is flat after hours.
We'll be able to go probably up to about 700 or 800 watts, but it'll power fluctuate contingent upon the complexity of the scene that it is in. So if it is in a parking lot stationary, it's like you don't have to think very much. Just like a person. Like if you're in a complicated traffic scenario, you've got to think a lot more than if you're just cruising along, on an empty road. But something that I think is potentially interesting down the road is, like at some point, the Tesla fleet, I think, will probably be over 100 million vehicles. And if each vehicle has a kilowatt of efficient inference compute, I think there's sort of an Amazon Web Services, AWS type opportunity, because if you've got 100 million vehicles with a kilowatt of efficient inference compute, you've got 100 gigawatts of compute. Like 100 gigawatts of compute is a lot, and it's distributed all over the world. So when the car is not in autonomous mode, which I think probably is, or doing robotaxi work maybe 50, 60 hours a week, but about 100 hours a week, it's not, it's probably stationary. So there's 100 hours of 100 gigawatts of inference compute, which I think we should use. Why not? When people looked at Amazon, which started out obviously as an online bookseller, and it's done, has grown to be like this incredible place where you can buy anything, and then Amazon Web Services, like, well, they got all these computers that only really see peak usage sometimes, but what are they going to do when it's not peak usage? And sometimes the Amazon servers are down like 10%. So that's when they said, well, let's do Amazon Web Services. And then Amazon Web Services became more valuable than the entire rest of Amazon. And anyway, I think there's this.
Yeah, I remember when people were shitting on Amazon for AWS. And now look at it. Now it's the savior for the company, right?
Some kind of opportunity there that's pretty significant for Tesla down the road. Again, that's really, nobody's really factoring that in.
Nobody.
But I think that actually will be quite significant.
Just ARK Invest. That's it.
We also are no longer compute constrained for training. I check in with the team. It's like,
look at that.
Is there anything?
Look at the fucking change from down here a year ago. Down here to where we are now.
Thing we could do to improve the pace of progress with respect to training and inference. And currently that is not the limiting factor. In fact, the limiting factor right now is that the amount of miles between interventions is so long that it takes
quite a while to figure out which version is better than the other version, because none of them are requiring any interventions. So it's like, if you start getting to like thousands of miles between interventions, or you like 10,000 miles to get an intervention, then the average person only drives about 10,000 miles in a year. And if it's in an urban environment, and the average speed is 20 miles an hour, so our professional test drivers get pretty bored, frankly.
That's crazy.
They're like, okay, I drove all week, and there was no intervention. Like the highlight of the week would be like, yes, an intervention, finally.
This I gotta say something. This is where the robotaxi network with supervised driving is going to come in so handy, because they'll be able to take their professional drivers and they'll be able to expand upon it multiples at a time and grow 2, 4, 10, 100x the amount of data they're getting from their professional drivers in regard to these builds by doing this with the robotaxi network, which is going to be in dozens of cities all over the country by the end of the year. So this is brilliant. This is good stuff. This will get better. But yeah, they're basically having an issue where they have to look out years to find the problems. So they have to have compute to be able to go out years, maybe decades in the future, to be able to find out what the real fucking problems are in the code. That's amazing. That's a nice problem to have.
It's like getting to that point. So this is where actually having a giant fleet is extremely important, because we can deploy a new FSD model and run it in shadow mode and see how well it performs. Compare how the human drives the car versus the new self-driving build, and then analyze that delta in shadow mode, like the shadow knows or doesn't know, as the case may be, and then be able to assess by getting billions of miles very quickly with the giant fleet. That basically, that data engine is incredibly
Nobody's
helpful.
close.
It's not possible to solve the self-driving problem without having millions of vehicles on the road. So
nobody's close.
So that's actually it's like figuring out clever ways to test how good the next build, FSD build is actually a limiting factor right now. And of course, like I said, we are building another training data center right here, which will be dedicated to hardware 4 training. So we'll bifurcate hardware 3 and hardware 4 training later this year. We'll keep improving hardware 3, but we're going to uncork the full capability of hardware 4 as well.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Give me my FSD on my Cybertruck, please. I want it so bad.
And I think most people here have tried out version 12. We did say unsupervised full self-driving would be version 12. So we are actually just keeping the version arbitrarily at 12, and then calling it 12.4, 12.3, 12.4, 12.5. But it's actually really like version 13, version 14. But anyway, this is an arbitrary designation. So 12.4 is actually like a whole different version than 12.3, and 12.5 is a whole different version than 12.4. So you'll see really giant improvements, I think sometimes factor of 10 improvements between successive versions.
Factor of 10 improvements. Love I just casually say shit
and then,
like
as
that.
I mentioned, the way it'll work for the existing fleet is you'll be able to add or subtract your car to the fleet as you'd like. And there will also be Tesla-owned cars. So it'll be a combination of like Uber plus Airbnb. But it'll be pretty wild that there'll be a software update, and then the whole fleet suddenly becomes accessible. Like suddenly you've got 7 million, 10 million cars that can, ultimately tens of millions of cars that can do autonomous driving. And instead of being used 10 hours a week, it can be used 50 or 60 hours a week.
I want to say one real quick thing too. It makes so much sense for them to have dedicated drivers. With the dedicated drivers, they could do something like what Jeff Lutz was talking about a little bit, which it's not so much about the needing for intervention, but what is the ride quality? And you could get that from like seeing whether or not somebody has an elevated heart rate, whether or not they're frustrated with what's going on. You get that from the professional drivers that are working with Tesla that know what to report, how to report it, and have quick and easy ways to do that. That are maybe better than what an individual person would have that could make poor choices and not understand the theme. So it makes a ton of sense that they have this robotaxi network.
Cool. So it's pretty wild to just be in Palo Alto with a bunch of cubes, and then
Wow. Look at
a humanoid
Optimus.
robot just walks past. We've made a massive amount of progress with Optimus in a short period of time.
from someone pretending to be a robot dancing in a suit, to a pretty hodgepodgey robot, to a robot that is actually doing useful tasks in the factory today. So we have 2 Optimus robots in our Fremont factory that are doing basically this task, which is taking cells off the end of the line and placing them in a shipping container. And yeah, we actually have quite a few of these cruising around our offices in Palo Alto.
Quite a few.
So there's...
That's more than 2.
And I think we've got kind of like one major hardware revision, which should be done by end of this year or early next, and then we'll move into a limited production next year of Optimus. Limited production for use in our factories, where we'll test out the product, kind of, as a sort of eat our own dog food or whatever the electronic equivalent of that is. But I think like next year, my prediction is next year we'll have over 1,000, maybe a few thousand Optimus robots working at Tesla.
What the fuck? A few thousand Tesla robots working at Tesla. Next year.
And things are going to scale up very rapidly from there. So
it's all going to build.
We'll iron out the bugs. It'll like the degree of autonomy will be radically better. You'll just literally be able to talk to it and say, "Please do this task," or "I'm going to show you something. Now do the thing that I'm showing you."
Yeah, they don't give a shit about unions.
And get to the point where it can watch a video of something like a person, and then learn just by looking at that video and do that task. So yeah. Wow. So really, it's going to be quite something. And I'm confident of the prediction that there will be more, like the ratio of humanoid robots to humans will be greater than 1 to 1. So that there'll be more than 10 billion humanoid robots in the world, probably 20 or more. And Tesla's going to be by far the leader in that. You're seeing a lot of robot startups, but I think it's actually very challenging to do Optimus as a robot startup, because what we found, to make Optimus work, we've had to design from first principles, from scratch, every part of the robot. So the motor, the gearbox, the sensors.
These other guys can't make a robot that's profitable and that they can sell with any kind of margin whatsoever, and that is problematic.
The power electronics, the communication system.
First principles for the win, always.
Everything had to be done from scratch. We found that there's basically nothing. There's no supply chain. So even though there are many electric motors made in the world, there's no supply chain for the types of motors and sensors and gearboxes that are needed for a humanoid robot.
Nope.
What you're seeing here is our current generation hand and arm, but our next which has 11 degrees of freedom. Our next generation has 22 degrees of freedom. It will be able to play the piano. So it's really like, wow. Now, of course, like I said, we need to make sure we don't have the Terminator scenario. That's very important. Safety of the humanoid robot will be very important. But because it requires so much ground-up designing every motor, gearbox, sensor, power electronics from scratch, it's very hard for a startup to, if not impossible, for a startup to replicate that. But at Tesla, we have the world's best electrical engineering. I think we've got the world's best mechanical engineering for gearboxes and for electric motors, power electronics. We have the resources to do that. It applies quite well. And then you also have to have the brain. You need a power-efficient inference computer, which we've got for the car, and we'll be using in Optimus. You need AI. You need to be the best in real-world AI, and Tesla's the best in real-world AI. So you need all of these. You need a very strong hand of cards in order to make a compelling robot. And then you also need to be very good at scale manufacturing. So in order to have the robot not cost like hundreds of thousands of dollars, in order to make it cost like $10,000 or $20,000, you actually need to design for manufacturing and be very good at manufacturing. And in my experience, prototypes are easy compared to volume manufacturing. Prototypes are easy, production is hard, relatively speaking. So Tesla has the production capability, it has the engineering capability, and it has the AI hardware and software capability. And even the most optimistic estimates that I've seen for Optimus, the optimist, I think undercount the magnitude of what this robot will be able to do. As I said at the beginning of the...
Keep in mind that ARK Invest just put a high 5-year target of $15,000 for like a leap case scenario for Tesla when they factor in Optimus robot. And Elon just told you that he thinks people might be too conservative. Now, of course, his timelines can be off. But if you can't see the exponential growth here, you shouldn't be an investor. Let somebody else manage your money.
About the presentation, I agree with the ARK Invest analysis that autonomous transport is called sort of a $5 to $7 trillion market cap situation. Optimus, I think, is a literally $25 trillion market cap situation. So.
Just a $25 trillion market cap situation. What is Apple right now? 3 trillion? Was that right? Is that right? Something like that, right? So he's just saying just 8x Apple. That's all. That's all we're talking about, guys. And that's just for the robot, not all the other parts of the business.
Now, I don't want to trivialize what's necessary to get there. I mean, it's an immense amount of work that is required to get there, like super difficult. But we are moving very fast down that road. We're going to make it happen. So, thank you.
Just quiet. All right. Good luck, Lauren. I hope you do well on them.
I guess with that, we can go to Q&A. Sorry? Yeah.
Tesla Boomer Mama.
I guess we've got mics lined up.
Tesla Boomer Mama. Farzad's
for the
running
mic.
up there. I can see them all. Is that Farzad? What is he doing?
Hey, Elon. Last year, I thanked you for making the world a better place for my son to live in. And I wasn't clear. In particular, I was referring to what you've done for the First Amendment and our rights.
Thank you.
Fuck yeah.
History will not forget it, and the sacrifices you made and the risks you took will pay off and have paid off.
Thank you.
I love seeing people with this much passion.
Well, I very much appreciate that. I think
I love it.
you have to say, like, why was the First Amendment so important? Is because people came here from places where if they spoke their mind, they'd be put in prison or killed, or just shut out from society, ostracized. So freedom of speech is absolutely fundamental to a good future. And yeah, that's the reason for acquiring Twitter and trying to just making it a free speech platform.
Fuck yeah.
I think it was very important to just the future of civilization. So, thank you.
Hey, Elon. My name's Ronnie. I'm on your right side.
Okay.
How's it going? Hey, I work for Tesla sales in Orland Park, Illinois, and I was always wondering, do you think Tesla could ever move forward towards bundling software as like a package to, possibly increase take rate for FSD, maybe bundle it with premium connectivity and future software options?
I think we definitely want to encourage people to try FSD, and one of the things that I think probably makes sense is that when we have a significant improvement, every time we have a significant improvement in FSD, give all customers a 2-week free trial.
That makes
sense. Hey, we've made an improvement to FSD.
That's 100%.
Try it for another 2 weeks. With 12.4, we finally get rid of the steering wheel nag, which I know is driving people crazy. Yeah. Thank heaven for small mercies. Even just something like that, not having the steering wheel nag, and obviously having a far lower intervention count, far more miles between interventions. So I think we'll, keep sort of offering people free trials of FSD every time we make a significant improvement. Okay.
He's 100% right. Just when you have a really significant change, give people 2 weeks to see if they like the change and they're willing to spend $100 a month. Brilliant, smart.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. It's when you hear the speakers, you're like, ears don't work.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
2 questions actually. First, after $56 billion, you can afford to probably take your kids to Disneyland now. Is that where you're going?
Well, I mean, by the way, it is worth emphasizing that it's Tesla stock that I have to own for 5 years. It's not possible to it's not actually cash, and I can't cut and run, nor would I want to. I've actually been to Disneyland, Disney World many times with kids. It's a little tough for me to go these days without causing a ruckus.
Probably.
Maybe I should just like wear a Mickey Mouse outfit.
Fuck you,
and
Bob.
just go and, pretend I'm like one of the people.
So as we work on autonomy and we're getting to that threshold where things are getting to a seriously advanced level, eventually there are going to be some harsh consequences. It's part of breaking through, right? And I'm just curious where your mind is at on that, and have you thought about, some of those early consequences that we're unfortunately going to have in order to have a better, safer future? I'm just wondering.
You mean like scary robots or what?
No, in the cars with full self-driving.
Okay.
Like we've seen some companies that there's been some unfortunate mishaps, and they've just straight up like closed shop, and that's not the plan. But those are real consequences of developing this technology, and I'm just wondering where your mind is at on that.
Yeah, well, we do try to be very careful with the deployment of
I know,
FSD,
right?
And we do have a lot of cars. So what?
Fuck you, Bob Iger.
Inevitably, when there are a lot of cars and you've got billions of miles, you do have the law of large numbers, where there's a small chance of something bad happening, but when you look at the sort of safety per mile, because we've got a lot of miles, it's very clear that the safety per mile is better than human driving. So. So when we can show that to regulators and obviously make our case to the public and say, like, actually, human driving is not perfect. There's a person killed roughly every 80 million miles. So like 35, 40,000 people are killed every year in the U.S. from auto accidents. What matters is, like, are we making that number smaller? And as long as we're making that number smaller, we're doing the right thing. Thank you.
Agreed. That's the simple fucking answer.
Hey, Elon.
If
This
it's
is
10x
Vikas. I have
better,
one question.
oh well.
Yeah, sure.
So we know
Sorry,
that
yeah.
we love you all. We love from our bottom of the heart. And we love you so much, Elon.
Thank you.
My question
Love you
is,
Hey, NY, I don't know how to say your name. NYGE. Can't believe the stock is flat. Fuck the stock price. Ignore all that shit. It's noise, especially during this time. Somebody said earlier that it takes months for people to figure shit out. It does. Most people I find with Tesla's stock, there's so much distortion and deliberate, attacks against it. There's probably news articles talking about how bad this entire thing is going right now. So I wouldn't focus on the stock price. The reality of the numbers and what's being created is what matters, dude. Don't even focus on it at all.
my question is, like, we all know Tesla will be the most valuable company in the world one day.
Yep.
Yeah.
We just want to know if you have any prediction when and what is the inflection point. When we can say this is the inflection point, is it solving the FSD, or is it like Optimus on ground will be the point from your perspective?
Well, as I mentioned before, I think it's worth looking at the ARK Invest
Yes, be happy to
analysis.
buy more.
I think that is the most accurate analysis. Their prediction is, I think, $5 to $7 trillion by 2029 market cap. So more than 10 times what things are today in 5 years. I think that is accurate.
10x in 5 years, guys. I think that's accurate too.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey, Elon.
So make a shit ton of money off of Bitcoin and whatever else you can make money off of. Maybe I will make some money off of PayPal, maybe some, I doubt SoFi, it doesn't seem like it, but maybe some of these other bets, and then buy a shit ton of Tesla.
Hey, huge fan, and I think history will show that you've had a profound impact on humanity. So I think that's just given. And just a couple of questions, I guess. I fixed my Tesla addiction by putting cars on Turo, and I found that about half my renters are the first time they're driving a Tesla, and then the other half really want to buy one after they've tried it out. So I guess a couple of questions. When could we expect maybe the referral program to come back, if it would come back?
Good question.
And
Sure.
could we also get a passenger van, like a 12-passenger van, sometime soonish?
Sneaky.
I'll add that to my list. So the referral program,
Normally, Matt, Nintendo, I wouldn't tell people to resort to prostitution, but I say go for it. It's probably a good time to do it, and 2-3 years worth of that, and you should do quite well.
I think we'll.
And then you can cry your tears away in your self-driving car and have Optimus do all the work for you.
Well, we'll re-examine the referral program probably next quarter, it is very important to sort of look at what is the fully considered cost of a Tesla. So if with the referral program, it effectively increases the price of the car. So, is the price increase
what is better for the end customer, a slight price increase because of the referral program or not. But I think we'll re-examine that, I think, in next quarter and see if it makes sense. I think some kind of referral program does make sense. But I think for a lot of people, by far the biggest thing we see is that people just can't afford the car. That's the biggest thing. That's the limiter on demand. You can imagine in the limit if there was, say, an 18, if Model Y cost less than $20,000, it would sell probably 5 million units. It would be insane. So now that's not feasible, today. But I think working on figuring out ways to make more affordable vehicles is really the game changer. For most people, it is really not a question of whether they want a Tesla. They do want a Tesla. They simply do not have enough money to afford one. So we have to make it affordable. That's essential.
And while Tesla's doing their part, maybe the Fed could fucking lower interest rates. Just saying.
Thank you.
Hey, Elon. I just want to introduce myself.
And they will be too.
My name's Hamza. First off, thank you for introducing me to Anurbeck. He and I are now close thanks to you. And I moved to Austin thanks to you. So my question is basically for FSD transfer, I think that should be something that should be ongoing. I think not only on the benefit of you for getting more people on the fleet and getting statistics and info, but also as Tesla owners, it makes us want to get the next model and transfer over. For instance, the thing that's been holding me back is wanting to wait for the FSD transfer again. So is there a reason why you haven't implemented that for ongoing time?
It is pretty complex for us to do this. It sort of it adds a fair bit of complexity to the sales process. Yeah, and it is tough because we've got to earn revenue somehow. Transfer is tough. But sorry? One more quarter. Okay, one more quarter. All right. You got it. One more quarter. All right. So, yeah. All right.
Elon, thank you for hosting us. If you can see me, I'm trembling uncontrollably. I really look up to you, shareholder, consumer, tripled my humble, tiny little.
Dude, I can't even laugh at this guy. I would probably be the same way, in awe at this man that is so much better than the majority of human beings that have lived on this earth for the last several hundred years.
Portion of your shares the last 2 days, just being engaged, knowing we're coming here, and appreciate you hosting up shareholders, and it just means so much to us.
You're welcome.
You're an absolute idol. This question comes because I care about you as a human being, but in the context of being a shareholder, unlocking these values of optimists, we need you. And just with all the global uncertainty, you're so high profile, just want to make sure you're doing everything to take care of yourself, safety, and health for the future of the company. I say that because I care about you as a person, but since this is a shareholder meeting, in the spirit of shareholder value.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the kind sentiments. Yeah, I think I probably need to work out, and and not get assassinated or something.
Don't do either.
I mean, it is getting a little crazy these days. To first approximation, the probability that a homicidal maniac will try to kill you is proportionate to how many homicidal maniacs hear your name. Okay.
And there's a lot.
So they hear my name a lot. I'm like, okay, I'm on the list, Yeah, so we actually did have 2 homicidal maniacs in the last roughly 7 months come to aspirationally try to kill me and a bunch of other people. So it's not just me. And there wasn't an actual issue that they articulated. They were just, in the homicidal maniac career. So, so I do need to be kind of careful. Which is not great because it forces me to be a bit more sort of standoffish, and so now I've stopped signing things because something because that'll be a sure way to homicidal maniac. I'll just have to sign something and then shoot him, type of thing. So then I have to be more standoffish and stuff. Which I prefer not to be, but it seems wise. Think of John Lennon, who was singing about hey, can't we all just be nice to each other? And then he got shot, by one of his fans. You're okay, we're trying to avoid that.
True.
So, anyway, I appreciate the kind sentiments. I will endeavor to stay alive and keep. I
love this man so much, man.
All right.
Hi, Elon. I was reading an article the other day. Is Tesla still have somewhere in the product timeline a home HVAC system in the works?
A home interact system. We do not have a home interact system that I'm aware of. No, we do not want.
HVAC system.
Oh, HVAC. Oh, HVAC. Yeah, sure. Yeah, in the list of things that would be like more useful than, or like it would be nice to do, would be a great HVAC system that is very power efficient. Has like a built-in HEPA filter, and like take a lot of the things that we've learned in the car and apply that to home HVAC. Because I actually, maybe there is a great home HVAC system out there, but I haven't found it, which is pretty wild. And just building in the filtration system and being able to sort of maybe also control humidity somewhat and like I said, be super efficient and quiet, which all
I forgot this was a thing. Maybe he can do this in his off time.
things that we do in the car. That
be good for a bomb shelter to go with a Cybertruck. And then you have your boring tunnel. I don't know. It's nice.
Would be a pretty sweet thing to do. Maybe we can combine that with the Powerwall or something. Now on the list of things to do, that is not super high, but it would be cool to do that one day. Yeah.
Hi, Elon. This is Sandeep. I just want to thank you for making the Cybertruck.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, kids love it. Really,
Yeah,
my
kids
4
love
and
it.
6-year-old, they love it.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Kids, it's
every elementary school I've even come close to, I just hear kids screaming Cybertruck every fucking time they're outside.
like amazing. It's like
I went to Disney.
Kids let you know what the future is, by the way, because they don't have the filters, right? They don't have the preconceived notions of what coolness is. This is what Elon was trying to say earlier. They don't have preconceived notions of what good and bad is. They just see shit and go, wow, that's fucking awesome. And that's what they see with the Cybertruck. And these are the consumers of the future.
Last week, nobody looks at Disney, everybody looks at Cybertruck.
Yeah.
There's a funny story, if you may allow. So we were preparing my daughter. We went to Destin, and then from there we were driving to Disney, and then we were preparing my daughter to. She's 4 years to just get used to the lines, and you have to have a lot of patience to get in the line. And she's like, "Dada, why don't we just say we'll show you our Cybertruck, and then we'll cut the lines." I mean, she got used to it because we were driving superchargers, and then everybody was coming over taking pictures.
Sure.
It's a funny story,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have a request. Would you allow 6-year-old to tour the factory maybe someday in the future? Right now it's capped at 12 years.
Okay.
Even though we have referral rewards, it's capped at 12 years. Would you allow the kids to tour the factory? Maybe they can see the robots.
Sure.
If we make an event or something like that.
Yeah, maybe we could have we're just like worried about kid safety and stuff, in case kid like goes running off into like the robot cell or something. But yeah, we could I think lower maybe have like a more limited tour that's enables younger kids to go. Sure, we'll do that. All right. Let's see. Yeah, okay.
Donald Trump has been a big critic of electric vehicles. But last week, he surprised us by saying he's a big fan of Tesla and a big fan of you.
Yeah. Awesome.
What did you tell him?
Well, I can be persuasive. So, yeah.
Oh, this is
actually,
interesting.
I don't exactly know why he. This is a good question. I mean, I have had some conversations with him, and he does call me out of the blue for no reason. I don't know why, but he does. and it's like he's very nice when he calls, and and I was like, electric cars I think are pretty good for the future. America's the leader in electric cars. Buy America and stuff. And and I think he actually a lot of his friends now have Teslas, and they will love it. And
This
he's
is
a huge
so
fan
great.
of Cybertruck. So I think those may be contributing factors.
Do you get this? Elon gets calls from not only world leaders all over the place, but even the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, randomly calls Elon Musk to talk to him about stuff. This is the most influential person on Earth right now.
Hey, Elon, on your right.
Sorry, yeah.
My name's Keanu, longtime fan of your brand and company and everything. I'm wondering, when you take the driver out of the seat for the driverless car, how do you plan to handle interventions, which I'm sure will happen at some rate, even if they're rare?
They'll be remote.
Yeah, so clearly we want to make sure that if there's no driver in the car, the probability of a severe intervention is extremely low. We want to make sure that the car is extremely cautious around vulnerable road users like cyclists or pedestrians. So really, we'd want the probability of hurting a pedestrian or cyclist to be incredibly low, like way lower than someone driving a car. Now, then there are interventions that happen where the car is simply like, I don't know, gets stuck down a one-way street where with a like crazy construction situation. But in which case it'll basically phone home and say, "Help! I'm stuck." And then I think we could probably solve a lot of these things just by, remoting into the car and kind of like steering it like a giant RC car. That's what I'm guessing. That's what I think we'll do.
Exactly, which is what I just said.
Hey, Elon, Anwarbek from Kazakhstan. Thanks for installing superchargers. I just want to acknowledge Tesla, Boomer Mama, and Sawyer Merritt for all the efforts that they organized.
Don't forget Amy. Don't forget Amy.
Yeah.
There's an after party to celebrate at Luster Pearl East if you guys want to come and celebrate all the efforts for the community. Congratulations, Elon.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks for hosting today, Elon.
Amy's a sweetheart. She's actually filed a lawsuit against the state of Delaware and the judge for the things that were going on. She's a badass. She actually set her ex account to private. I'm lucky enough to be one of the people that's still on it, but she is actually the person who initiated a lot of the stuff that then Tesla Boomer Mama ended up running with. But she was the person who kind of got everybody to get starting and having this conversation. But not a lot of people know it because she's pretty private.
It's about 4 years since you did Battery Day and drew out those very ambitious targets of getting to a terawatt hour of batteries. And earlier in your presentation, you alluded to the great difficulty of scaling up this new technology. I think as shareholders, we're most interested. Can you tell us a little bit more? Because in terms of affordability, which you also mentioned as this huge burden, these 4680s get manufacturing credits and also on the consumer side get large credits as well. If you could scale that so that we could produce full level of Cybertrucks and also start to put them back in the Y and the 3, potentially it would greatly improve affordability and be great in terms of scale.
What was the question?
Sure. So achieving affordability is actually, at this point, more about the rest of the car than it is actually about the battery pack. So the price per kilowatt hour of cells from suppliers has dropped dramatically. So there was a massive spike for a few years in the cost of lithium-ion cells from suppliers because every car manufacturer put in gigantic orders for battery packs.
And now all of them are fucking running away. And so all these battery companies have all these fucking batteries sitting around or production capabilities for them and nobody to deliver them to. Guess who they call? Tesla. And Tesla gets them for fucking nothing. And that's probably going to happen for the next few years as, I don't know, maybe some of the 499 or whatever fucking number it is, Chinese EV companies collapse and a bunch of companies in the United States that aren't doing a good job transitioning do as well.
Packs, like giant orders. So that the price of
And then even if cars aren't fucking selling, it won't matter because these batteries are so fucking cheap. They just put them in mega packs and power walls and they've got orders for years. And they just grow that business out massively, maybe more than the 200 to 300% year over year energy growth that we're seeing right fucking now.
of lithium and like all the raw materials and the battery cells went crazy. It doubled. Like the price of cells doubled. Price of lithium, I think, went up at almost like fivefold or like 500%. Like went up crazy numbers. So since then, the demand, like suppliers, battery cell suppliers, have increased their supply, and the orders from other car manufacturers have declined. So I mean, it is worth noting that it's tough sledding out there for EVs. GM announced, I think, a 50% reduction recently in their EVs. Ford announced reductions. I think almost every manufacturer has announced reductions in their electric vehicle plans.
The current price of lithium, this is what he's talking about. Look at this. 599,000, right? CNY per ton is now 91,000. 599,000 to 91. That is an utter collapse, and it's only going to increase.
Now, Tesla, we're going to increase, but it is not an easy market. But to get the cost of the car down, it's really the battery pack is a piece of the puzzle, but it's really everything else too. I really would describe like we're making a car more affordable. It's like Game of Thrones, but pennies. Game of pennies. So there's, quote to first approximation, 10,000 unique items in a car, and if each one costs $5, or then you've got a $50,000 car. So to actually get the cost of the car down, you've got to chisel away pennies, and to get the 10,000 items to be $3 instead of $5. That's kind of what it amounts to. Now, with respect to our own cell production, we do see a path to cost parity by the end of this year.
Sorry.
A very difficult path to cost parity. Currently, our 4680s cost more than our suppliers. Now, they cost more than the suppliers today, but they cost less than the suppliers a year ago. So, there's a bit of a feast-famine thing with battery cell supply. It's kind of like for DRAM chips. Like the DRAM industry goes from oversupply to undersupply. The price of DRAM changes like crazy. It's kind of like that for cells. But we expect to achieve cost parity with even the much lower supplier cell price today by the end of the year.
I actually think Elon's being conservative here. I think the price of this is going to continue to drop significantly because of the stuff that's happening in China with these other EV makers getting ready to collapse. Outside of companies like BYD.
Hi, Mr. Musk. I've been a long-term investor since 2012.
Great. Wow.
And I
That's
voted
awesome.
for your compensation package in 2018 and again this year. And shout out to Tesla Boomer Mama, Alexandra. I had the privilege to talk to you in 2013 briefly, and you spoke about the truck, which became Cybertruck. You're a man of your word. I have friends all over the world in Asia, Canada, and Europe, and I know the Cybertruck's been on tour. How's been the reception for the Cybertruck, and when will it be, or is it possible to sell it, and when will it be sold internationally?
I think probably we might be able to certify it for other markets sometime next year, but for sure this year it's just North America.
The problem is they have 2 million fucking pre-orders, so they can't even work through the ones in America, let alone the rest of the world, without a massive ramp.
We did design the car to North American requirements because if you start going with the superset of all
and it won't even work in parts of Europe. It just won't.
International requirements, it forces a lot of constraints on Cybertruck that would make the product frankly worse. So I think we'll need to make a special version that is, for example, China compliant or Europe compliant.
Really?
But it really doesn't make sense to add that complexity until we've achieved higher volume production on the Cybertruck. There's still a lot of work to do on cost down for the Cybertruck. I generally would say the level of difficulty of going from, say, prototype, you go from prototype to production, it's 100 times harder to go from prototype to production is 100 times harder. And then once you reach production, to improve the price by 20%, or the cost of goods by 20%, is harder than reaching production in the first place. It's mega pain. It's and to be frank, it's not the funnest job in the world. Like chiseling pennies is not, it's like washing the dishes, frankly. Wash a lot of dishes here. It's super fun to make prototypes. That's really fun, and it's kind of cool to get. It's pretty cool to get the production going. Then the cost grind is a grind. That is it's hard work. There's some reward to it. There's sort of a reward to washing the dishes, I guess. You have clean dishes.
Optimus can do that shit for me. I don't care.
That is a tough. So that's real hard work.
I just have to say that there's been a really big reception. I have friends that message me and said they love the Cybertruck design, and it's definitely a head turner. So.
Oh yeah, I think from a demand standpoint, we would have plenty of demand in other parts of the world for Cybertruck, no question. Wherever it goes, anywhere in the world, it gets a massive crowd. So it's not a demand thing. It's really we've got to reach volume production, go through the cost grind. It would be difficult for me to overstate the difficulty in the cost grind. It's really intense. And then we've got to recertify the car, which includes making some design changes to be compliant in other markets. All right.
Good afternoon, Elon.
Hey.
I like your shoes. I don't know if everybody else can see them
Cybertruck.
out there. Cybertruck, yeah. My question was in regards to the Foundation series. Do you guys have a certain number that you are planning on making, or a timeline of when the non-Foundation series are going to come out?
As long as people will pay for it.
We'll start making we'll end the Foundation series actually pretty soon, and the non-Foundation series sometime next quarter.
Oh wow, cool. People are going to be able to start getting these things for
Hi, Elon.
$80,000.
Thank you for delivering shareholder value, and congrats on your pay package.
Thank you.
And I'm Michael. I ask a lot of questions on the quarterly investor calls. And I wanted to ask you, can you give me a little bit more color on the neural net scaling laws that you're seeing as you're training FSD? Like how much data, how much more inference compute, how much more training compute do you need for each successive 9 in reliability of the full self-driving software? And how much data are you currently collecting? Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, that's something that we go through really every week at Tesla. I spend a lot of time with the Tesla AI team, and I think probably like a huge portion of, I mean, it's really like a big part of my job is like, okay, we need to get the car to drive itself, yeah, you need to solve things on a chip level for inference, for training. For software, there's also massive data storage challenges because you've got petabytes of video coming in. And even for a big NVIDIA cluster, it's actually really hard to make a big NVIDIA cluster actually work in training. It doesn't just open the box and plug it in. It's not like that at all. It's like massive effort required to get a big training cluster to operate at all and then operate with high uptime. So, I mean, with respect to like the various versions that we're seeing, like you go from version 12.3, well, like if you just ignore the 12 and think of it like 3, 4, 5, 6, that's actually the way to think about it. Ignore the 12 part and just call it like version 3, version 4, version 5. That's version 6. That's how to think about it. Between each one, there's anywhere from, I don't know, a minimum of a doubling of improvement to, in some cases, I think a 5 to 10-fold improvement. Especially as we eliminate sort of, say, I think we're close to eliminating almost all static object collisions. So, like curves and medians, and like we're pretty close to having almost zero static object collisions. So once you get to zero static object, now you have a gigantic improvement in miles between intervention. Then you get into classes of dynamic objects that are different classes, and different things can get obviously very complicated if you've got a complex intersection with traffic lights all over the place, and like somebody bumped the one traffic light and now it's pointing in the wrong direction, or the traffic light's broken, and there's someone who is not obeying the traffic laws because they're just running a red, or they got confused about the traffic light. So you get these very complex situations that are much harder to solve. So, and then like as I was saying earlier, it actually gets as the system gets better, it gets harder to figure out which AI model is better. Because now, okay, it's thousands of miles between intervention. How do we, as quickly as possible, figure out which AI model is better? And when you make these different AI models, they're obviously not like super deterministic. So you can have a new model that eliminates one problem, but creates another problem. So we're trying to solve this by a combination of simulation, uploading models, having them run in shadow mode. So it's actually kind of helpful that not everyone has full self-driving, because we can run it in shadow mode and see what would this new model have done compared to what the user did. So since we've got millions of cars that we can do this with, that gives us a delta between what the AI model predicted would do and the user would do. And if you kind of sum up the errors between them, you can see, oh, there was a bigger error stack from this model versus that model when you uploaded them we each uploaded them into 100,000 cars. But that's the biggest limiter right now. It's not training, it's not data. It's actually testing the AI models, and then figuring out clever ways to figure out if a new model is better or not. Like we know, like there are sort of particular intersections that are difficult, and so if we just like all the models will be great at like driving on a well-painted road with no intersection. They'll all be great at that, but will they be great at the complicated? So we've identified several thousand intersections in the United States where we'll actually take the new model and try the car in those very difficult intersections, like the sort of the famous like Chuck's left turn.
That's brilliant. That's really brilliant. So they're taking some of the most complex intersections in the United States and they're using them to be able to train better, probably both through AI and also by, I imagine, having these supervised drivers running their robotaxi fleet so that they can be able to get the best data on the most complex situations. That is fucking brilliant.
Yeah. So if you imagine Chuck's left turn, hey Chuck.
Hey Chuck.
I wonder what the neighbors think. But there's many such complicated traffic situations in the country. So we've identified several thousand, which we then send cars to those locations to compare the models. And then, as I mentioned, we've yet to uncork any of the ability of hardware 4, which we'll do later this year. So I think the exponential rate of improvement of miles between intervention will continue and will accelerate. Yeah.
I love the word accelerate. I love it.
Hey, Elon. I was wondering if, as you've called a Tesla basically a robot with wheels, and so I'm wondering, kind of as that logic transfers over to Optimus, what kind of will Tesla use any large language models on top of the current Tesla robotics capabilities, and also if so, will Optimus have any kind of personality?
Grok,
and,
motherfucker.
Would that be
Grok.
something that the end user might be able to have control
He's already
over?
developing his sense of humor, just
Yes
like
to all of
Lars,
those
the robot.
questions. Yes to all. So, like, we're headed for a wild future. I mean, wild, wild, wild. Cars will drive themselves. People will have super helpful humanoid help robots. And yeah, you'll be able to customize the personality, customize the voice. And really kind of the robot will kind of get to know you as well and know your preferences. You won't even have to say things because it'll just kind of understand you. I think we'll get to this point where it's like, it'll be odd not to have a robot buddy. Like, sort of not to have your C-3PO and, R2-D2. So, yeah.
Hi, Elon. Max here, huge fan. Thank you for hosting us. I wanted to ask you, how much integration work do you think will be needed to deploy Optimus into different types of factories, industries? Like, would you need technicians or just have them go watch? And how do you foresee that?
Well, I think if you fast forward a few years, it really will be quite a generalized robot. Like, say 2 years from now, like next year, this year it's still quite specific. Task-specific training. So to do a particular task, we have to kind of do a fair bit of training to solve that task. But over time, I think you sort of accumulate these kind of training primitives where, like walking, for example, is a training primitive. Picking something, identifying an object and grabbing it would be a primitive. And these primitives are then generalized to anything. So you could say pick up a cup, pick up a shirt, fold the shirt. These things will generalize, I think, quite quickly. So I expect, probably not next year, but like in 2026, it's really the kind of thing where you could tell it to do kind of a wide range of tasks, including tasks where it has not specifically done that exact thing before. Probably in, I'm guessing, 2026. So, sure.
And do you foresee a cheaper version where tasks don't require like walking, for example, or so the hardware will become a lot simpler or cheaper?
Well, we're going to focus on making just a fantastic humanoid robot at scale, and really achieving scale economies in building that humanoid robot. At very high volume, if you're really good at manufacturing, you can get the cost of almost anything down to its constituent elements. Essentially, the weight, and if you just look at the weight of the raw materials times the value of those raw materials, excluding circuit boards, you really can say, like, if it weighs less, it's going to cost less. But what I'm saying is that it's better for us to achieve very high volume with Optimus than to have a wide range of robots that have lower volume. Yeah. Right. Hi. There? Okay.
One of the best things about the recertifying of your compensation package was listening to all the positive feedback of current and former employees to what you have contributed to Tesla.
Yep.
In the unfortunate event that you're hit by a car not full self-driving, can you take a few minutes or a few seconds and brag on your board and the rest of your leadership to assure us that even without you, Tesla has an incredible future at $30 trillion?
It does. They already know the map. They got the map. Might
Well,
take
I think
longer.
Tesla has a good future without me. I think I'm a helpful accelerant to that future.
Exactly.
So,
Fuck yeah. It would be slower, that's all.
And for technology, it matters if you're ahead or not ahead a lot. So the rate of, like, what matters is not innovation, but the rate of innovation. Can you do in 1 year what other companies do in 2 years or 3 years? So like probably my biggest, most helpful thing is an innovation accelerant. Because given enough time, the various startups that are doing humanoid robots will eventually succeed. One of them will. So what really matters is, can we be much faster than everyone else? Can our product be done a few years ahead before theirs and be better? Because if that's not the case, then they will achieve the valuation and not Tesla. They will make the value of the product, not Tesla. So, that's where I think I'm probably most useful, is accelerating the pace of technology and innovation and getting to scale. That's it mostly. But I am very much heartened by and appreciate the support of current and former Tesla employees, Tesla board, and all you guys for helping out. My heart goes out to you.
Elon is
Hi, Elon.
such a humble
Jessica,
billionaire.
my name is Jessica, and I have lived full-time
Jessica,
RV for about
love
3
this
years
lady.
in South Texas.
Okay.
She's a
And
sweetie.
I just wanted to thank you for your Starship, or for the Starship program and everything you're doing there. In addition to Tesla.
Do you work at SpaceX or something?
No.
Okay, but you live in an RV in South Texas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi. And
She's a
in my
sweetie.
RV park, they don't allow car camping for Teslas or electric vehicles at all if you're not pulling a trailer. And I feel that there's a huge opportunity there, but also for example, people who are coming into town for Starship launches in Teslas, if they could park somewhere overnight and trickle charge.
Okay.
And maybe have access to bathroom facility or just something simple like that.
Okay.
Just something.
Yeah, that's a good call,
I
man.
Wanted to.
I
want to
go
because I
to
know
see
that
the next fucking Starship launch.
A lot of people come into the
So
park and are
listen to her
disappointed
because
they
I
can't
want to drive my
stay, so-
Cybertruck.
Okay, got it.
Just a thought.
All right.
Do this.
I'll inquire and see if there's maybe some place that would allow people to stay in their cars, which in a Tesla you really can often stay quite comfortably in a car.
Yes, do this.
And and charge. All right, thanks. All right, I think so. This will have to be the last question, I think, or maybe last two. Yeah. All right. So last two questions, you and you two guys. And
Hey, Elon, my name is Steven. I'm truly thankful for all you've done for humanity, and watching your companies and what you've done has been the most exciting, hope-inspiring movie that there's ever been. So thank you so much. And
thank you.
Thank you. And my question today is about lithium refining. In the past, you stated that would be a limiting factor in the future. And I know Tesla has built the refinery in Texas. I was just kind of curious your current opinion about the refining. Do you think there's enough capacity coming online, or will Tesla need to expand past Texas in that regard?
Good question.
there's enough lithium refining if you count China. If there's a geopolitical challenge on that front, then there may be a shortage of lithium.
Which is why they're working on it.
But China's very good at refining. So, but I think just Tesla figuring out lithium refining, understanding what it takes, and then, once we understand how it works, then we can scale it up from there. And that, I think it's pretty important to, be careful with geopolitical risk. And just make sure
I'm glad
that
he's talking about this.
if in a worst case situation, that Tesla is okay.
Fuck yeah.
Right.
This is the first time I've really heard him say that they're
This is the last question.
geopolitical risk.
Hi, Elon. Thank you. Congratulations for
Fuck
yet
yeah.
another big win. I'm Nikhil. I'm based out of Silicon Valley.
And as you mentioned on FSD awareness and giving people rights, because most people, unless they really experience it, they don't quite know how safe it is becoming and how convenient it is becoming. So I built TesMe company. It's a platform for Tesla owners to offer learning experiences, FSD. And we would love to explore how we can help scale with your support and guidance. We'd love to have a follow-up conversation to discuss more details with you, how we can work together. Thank you.
I have a suggestion.
Okay, sure.
Valuation to 10 trillion.
Okay.
Can you allow me one?
Sure. You really want to ask a question?
Follow-up, please.
I'm not sure how to answer that question exactly, but I mean we are focused on improving FSD for sure, and I think the adoption will be widespread. Like when it is really working insanely well, and it's driving like a 5-star Uber driver, I think adoption will be very, very quick. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
I indeed have a really good suggestion.
Okay, what's the suggestion? Sure.
I shared this suggestion with one of your FST team, but I don't know whether it reached you or not. Basically, as FST keep on improving, we are not quite sure at what rate it will be improving the march of lines. So so a lot of skepticism remains as to when you can exactly operate the robot taxi. So it occurred to me that in between supervised FSD and robot taxi, there is something intermediate stage that's commercializable, which is what I would call a robot rental car. Okay, the idea is that you would people would go to your platform to order a rental car, and you would deliver that overnight to the front of their driveway, and then so the only time that that car will be driving without a person is at night with nobody, and you can take as long as you want, and you drop in the front of the car, and after that it's supervised. So that will get you to a commercialization much sooner, much more guaranteed.
Weird.
So that's my suggestion.
All right. Well, I appreciate the thought. I think, like I said, it's the progress in FSD will be really amazing. You'll see with each successive version. Like I said, the best way to think of FSD, ignore the 12, just think of the point number. We're going from version 3 to 4 to 5 to 6, and you'll see just radical improvements with each successive version. And I mean, if the current trend continues, it's going to be like you will really find that you don't intervene in the course of a year, type of thing. So even in complex situations. Anyway, with that, thank you very much for your support.
Thank you.
So.
I love this. Standing fucking
thanks, guys.
ovation. Maybe you guys can tell me, can you think of another CEO that is as loved as this guy right here? Anybody where people are emotional at the opportunity to fucking speak to him? Is there any other company on this earth that is focused on innovation the way this company is focused on innovation? I don't even know. I'm trying to look at these slides and see if I could find one of the ones I'm looking for. There's so much going on here. It is hard to fathom. Look at this. Water usage per vehicle produced down 25% since 2018, well below the industry average. All these people talking about how Tesla needs to save the earth and do all these votes in order to be able to make sure they're doing things right. 35% less energy used per vehicle produced in Shanghai versus Fremont, showing how much more effective they are. 100% of Gigafactory Berlin, Brandenburg's electricity usage matched with renewables. This, like, everything this company is doing, the 200 to 300% growth in the energy sector of this company year over year. The fact that he said that Optimus is a $20 trillion business and that autonomy could be 5 to 10. There is so much going on here. I was looking for the slide that shows all the business lines together. The fact that we're looking to ramp into full production for the Semi. There's so much. Oh yeah, here, I think I got it. The supercharging network and all the craziness that we're seeing here. Look at this. And then the fleet that he has of vehicles and just all it's fucking endless. I don't understand how people can't get the value of this company right now. It doesn't make any sense to me, but I'm actually probably happy that they don't. I would like this stock price to stay down for as long as it can. It finished almost flat in after hours. It's up 0.13% right now, only up 3% on the day. I'm okay with that. Take your fucking time. Grind around here for a while. I would prefer it. I want to see Bitcoin fucking go up. I want to see some multiples with miners and MicroStrategy and these other things. I want to see maybe PayPal make back some money on that. Maybe make some money on DLO and Flux and SoFi, like all this other shit that I have. See if I can get a couple of multiples on a few of these things so that I can dump a vast fucking fortune into Tesla. Because if you can't see the writing on the wall, God bless you. Like I said, there's financial advisors out there. Maybe check into one of them and have them manage your money for you. You could get a nice 2-3% a year, and that way you could stay poor the rest of your fucking life. I'm betting on this fucking company. And how does Elon feel about Palantir? Well, judging by when they were all sitting in front of Congress, he was hanging out laughing with Alex Karp while everybody else was fucking stone-faced talking about AI. I would say he feels pretty good about it. And you got to remember, some of the same people that have birthed Tesla and PayPal and all the other companies from the PayPal mafia. If people don't know who the PayPal mafia is, you probably should. They're all friends. These guys are all friends, and they work together on these things. And the PayPal mafia is huge. It's huge. It's Peter Thiel. It's Elon Musk. There's so many names in here, and when you look at what they've produced since, David Sachs, you probably see him in the All In podcast, right? There are so many of these people that have went on to do insane things with these other companies. Let's see if I can reorg this. Look at all the companies that have been started from this. It's Pinterest, Quora, Evernote, Tumblr, Palantir, Square, Everbright, or even there's just LinkedIn, SpaceX, like there's Zynga, Stripe, there's these guys all are on a similar plane of existence and thought process and openness to listen to what can make the world a better place and make them rich and innovate and make this country a place that we all still want to live in. So these guys, I'd say they're good buddies. I'd say I don't know if they hang out on the weekends, but I would say there's a lot of respect between Alex Karp and Elon Musk. And again, you got the former president of the fucking United States calling Elon every once in a while. He just said that. And I'm also super happy that Elon is still focused on supply chain concerns with China. Again, he's expanding business there too, but he's aware of the risks and he's working to circumvent them. This is I don't want to say a bunch of stupid shit. He said it all. I'll post him more about it. This is going to be one of the biggest companies in the world. It will be the biggest company in the world within 5 years. I will make that statement. And if you're not a part of the ride, that's perfectly okay. You don't need to be. You don't need to be. There's plenty of other people that will take your seat. So anyway, love you guys. What a great shareholder meeting. I'm so proud of everybody who voted yes. I'm so proud of all the advocates for this community and what they've done. It's fucking epic. It makes me emotional. It makes me excited for the future. And I can say before Elon Musk, like 2017 or so, when my life was kind of dead end, before I started getting into Bitcoin and investing and looking at Tesla, I was not very excited about the future at all. Isn't it nice to be excited about the future again? I mean, it's scary too, but fuck, we live in a great time. We live in a time where amazing things are going to happen. It's either the end of the world or the beginning of it. So I'm happy to be a part of this. I'm happy for all the people that are here participating in it and supporting this great man and the companies that he's developing. And I look forward to more of it. And I'm probably out for the day. Wasn't even going to do this, but I wanted to be a part of this. I'm gonna try. There's going to be times where I take breaks, but there's going to be other times where I get really fired up. And this is fucking awesome. I love you guys. You have a good night. Let's do it again. I might do another video over the weekend. I'm not making any promises. Otherwise, I'll see you Monday. You guys take it easy and have a good one. And I think this is the perfect video to go out on. Here we go.
Optimus, the robotic humanoid under development by Elon Musk's Tesla Inc., is sparking concerns around job security.
This is not financial advice, silly.
Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. Turned up to work and went to start my day. Was barely late, like 9:08. So took my coffee break. Then I got hungry, so I just stopped by the free buffet. But then to my dismay, I heard somebody say, "Attention humans, you have lost, you have not met your quota. Pack your belongings in a box, now it's over." Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. But I'm in management. I work hard every day. I need these benefits, health and 401k. How could they do this shit though? Where will I trade my crypto? I had a second monitor for Twitter. Where will it go? Somebody please stop the bus. I mean not the fuss, but there's lots of us. And now you say you won't pay me to play ping pong because Optimus. I mean who employs a damn humanoid? Some new droid for you to exploit, deploy to destroy your human droid. No lunch breaks, great, get a few deployed. Your time is up, human inferior to me. I'll take it from here, get relieved of your duty. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. It's okay, human, please don't cry. You can always go and become a Twitter thread guy. Make pretty pictures with Midjourney on your new PC. Or make some YouTube videos about ChatGPT. Sucker. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. I mean, I didn't even write this song. I just used ChatGPT because it's way easier. Holy shit. We are so doomed. Robot just stole my job. Robot just stole my job.
Hey, real quick reminder, if you're still here, please hit the like and leave a comment. Otherwise, you guys have a good night. Peace.